Raw, not a whole lot that I really want to talk about, but it was a very boring show. There's not going to be a recap of the news this week, so it's not going to be the usual goofiness here because I didn't write a report as we watched it. But Johnny Nitro faced Jeff Hardy in the opener. Actually, there was an Edge segment where he was on a ladder and talking about the ladder match at the pay-per-view, and Cena attacked him, blah, blah, blah. Nothing really of note there, really, that I know of. Vince?
They reminded us there's a TLC match coming up. That was it.
Yeah. Then we had Johnny Nitro and Jeff Hardy for the IC title, which was not bad. It was a better match than the last Jeff Hardy match, which was last week with somebody whose name I've completely forgotten. But it was all right. Nothing great. Hardy looked okay. Nitro did a pretty good job with him. They did their stuff. Finish saw Hardy going for his finish. Melina jumped up and stopped the referee from counting 3. That was the end. He rang the bell. And then Jeff hit the senton afterwards. So apparently this feud must continue. I presume it will be added to the pay-per-view, but I'm fine with that since it was good. So
sure, why not?
What can you do, kids? I'm losing it. I gave it my all talking about Jubs, and I've got nothing left.
Jubs is all that matters.
He really is.
Jubs is so much more important than anything that happened on this show.
Some deal with Trish and Lita. This deal, they've agreed that Trish's last match is at the pay-per-view in her hometown. The title is on the line. Lita's defending. So the question is, does Trish win the title in her final match with WWE? And if so, what do they do with it? I say they give it to her and then retire it.
Who the hell cares? Yeah.
So that's coming up. Then we had Lita begging for... that ended up with a big brawl where Lita slapped Trish, Carlito ran in, Orton ran in, this, that, and the other thing. Ended up with Lita asking Coach to make some sort of match, and so he made Lita, Edge, and Orton versus Trish, Carlito, and Cena. And that was the main event there, kids. Chris Masters faced Super Crazy. Masters is getting
super crazy, yes.
Smaller by the week. This was the wellness battle as both guys are coming back from suspensions. Super Crazy won.
Yay!
He defeated Chris Masters, so...
I'm sure we'll get Masters and Crazy for a while now.
Well, I don't know about the long term of Chris Masters.
Well, that's valid.
As we've noted many times, he's got one thing going for him, or he did. That was his Herculean physique. Now he's just got a physique on a show with a bunch of guys with physiques. And his physique, while better than most, is getting smaller by the week. So 6 months from now, what will be left of Chris Masters? He will look like Randy Orton. He can't work like Randy Orton. And what do you do with him?
Well,
I think
I'm afraid the answer is nothing.
I think we sort of got an answer to that by what happened here. So Vince and Shane came out for the most horrifically boring promo, hyping up Hell in the Cell with the Big Show and DX at the pay-per-view. DX finally came out. They got in a big argument, and DX ran down, beat up some security. The McMahons bailed, and that was the whole damn thing.
This took about 15 minutes.
Absurd.
Oh, God, it sucked.
Vince, go shut that door right there while I'm talking, since you're utterly useless so far anyway.
Okay, hang on.
They had this long deal with Maria, which was so dumb. It started at the beginning of the show when Jeff Hardy was shown painting a wall. And this was set up for comedy, which was Maria going, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I'm recreating the Melina press conference," or something like that. "I'm watching paint dry." And it was met with apathy. So, of course, throughout the rest of the show, Maria was, in fact, watching the paint dry. So they cut to her a couple of times, and the best was they were out of sequence. There was a segment with Ric Flair that they did live, and then they cut back, and she was magically in the same exact position watching the paint still. So that was a good one. Highlanders faced Viscera, Charlie Haas, and Cade Murdoch for a kiss. I think
it's probably the highlight of the show, actually.
Oh, undoubtedly. They had a deal where Umaga and Alejandro came out, and Alejandro, what the hell's going on here?
Umaga was going to kill Flair, but then Kane came out.
I hate this fucking computer sometimes, dude. Go ahead and talk about this segment while I try and figure this out.
Well, Umaga was going to kill Flair, and then Kane came out. Kane and Umaga brawled, and I think Kane fought him off and set off his pyro, and that was that, if I remember right. I was half asleep by this point.
I'm. Hold on a second, everybody. All right, I'm going to keep going and just pretend like nothing is going wrong with my computer and hope that this I'll record. Something's going wrong. Hold on. All right. I apologize, everybody. Small, minor technicalities are weighing on me much greater than usual today, so I believe we've got the situation handled, and we can now resume this horrendous show. Where the fuck were we? Marie and Flair. Are you awake?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to...
I like how you answer without the microphone by your mouth, like you'd been...
I wasn't prepared, but I'm awake.
Fuck you.
This is what happens when you spend 3 days together.
No, it should be significantly worse, to be honest with you. By the way...
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. I've said it many times. Vinny and I could never live together. This was so hammered in my head this weekend. You are the grossest human being in the morning.
Oh, totally. Oh, God, you have no idea. I have, yeah.
Vince, I didn't tell you this. I'm going to tell you this right now. The first morning after, this would be Saturday morning, I woke up really before everybody. I grabbed all my computer stuff. I went outside. I started updating the website and that sort of thing. And what's my pet peeve with you, Vince? There's many. I shouldn't even ask that question. You would never be able to answer.
Actually, I better know this time.
Okay.
You hate listening to me eat.
Yeah. You fucking came out at 11:30 a.m. or so, and I was like, Mrs. Talwar, Mama Talwar got us all some donuts. Yeah. And so you go in the house, and nobody can even imagine the disgustingness of you in the morning. Your clothes all seem tighter. Your hair is fucking disheveled. Your whole body just looks oily. There's hair sprouting out all over the place. You're just a disgusting, and God bless you, of course, Vince.
No, I take no offense to this. I've seen myself in the morning.
A disgusting.
I'm an ogre.
Yes, you're worse than an ogre. You're just like you crawled out of a sewer.
Yes.
Seaweed all over you, and just a wretched being. I can't even call you a human being. A wretched subhuman in the morning. So you fucking go inside and get a donut, and come out and sit down at the table a foot from me in that state, and you just start chomping on this donut. It's all I can hear. And I'm looking at you, and you just look so disgusting, and it's worse because you're feeding yourself a donut. Just... And there's crumbs falling all around you, and just bugs coming out and starting to eat the shit that falls off your body. And then you finish the fucking donut, and what do? You go in and come out with another donut. And amazingly, I have not blown my top yet, and I don't even know how it's possible. But before eating the second donut, you look at me and you go, I'm going to go take a walk. And you stood up and left, and never in my whole life have I been so happy to see you leave my presence.
This show just became legendary, I think, with your imitation of me eating.
Was that the most hate-filled thing I've ever said on this show?
No. I don't think that's even the most hateful thing you said about me.
People are going to freak out now about, Brian, you're such an asshole. I cannot blah, blah, blah. Fuckers, you spend a night and wake up and see Vince in the morning. And then it'll be a whole different story.
You not only hate me, you will hate yourselves.
Yes.
I can't even say I admit it. It's just it's a blatant fact that Vinny in the morning is a demon from hell.
You are just a different sort of grotesque in the morning, so I don't know how the fuck we got into that, but how the hell did we get into that?
Not a clue.
So anyway, then we had something that everybody's going to cry. People cry on the board about a lot of stuff. If I don't play this, there's going to be people crying for months. So here you go, kids. Your fucking crime time.
The following training video contains performances by highly trained professional criminals. Their actions should not be imitated whatsoever in your hood. Brooklyn! Yo, 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 yo! Pop a 40 and check your rollies. It's crime time! Outside of a local smoothie shop, Chad Gaspard and JTG, also known as Crime Time, stop by as they're in training for their debut on Raw. Today, Crime Time plans to work on their speed. But Crime Time isn't about running sprints. You must be straight tripping. This is how we do. Homeboy thought he was going to sell a smoothie. The only thing smooth here is how Crime Time removes the money. And you know it's straight cash play is. Chad also removes the clerk's head from his shoulders. Crime Time's game is so tight that JTG stops to give a shout out to his boy Dirty.
Shout out to my boy Dirty. Big up to Parkside and Flatbush. Yeah, we gets it popping. Shout out to my boy Ace. Yeah. What's up? The time, man. Come on.
Chad reminds JTG that this is about speed and they need to bounce, but not before making sure nothing can be used against them in a court of law.
Over, man. 3 seconds over, man. I give a shout out to my boys, man. Back. Look at shout out to your boys. Come on, man.
Yeah, man.
Yo, we gotta be on time, man. We gotta be on time. We gotta be on field with this, man. Why, you wanna do it again? That Tony's Pizza next door.
Join us again next week for the further adventures of Crime Time. Peace out.
All right, there's your Crime Time, everybody. Maybe next week when I'm feeling a little bit better, I'll see the genius that is Crime Time. Because from looking at the board, Crime Time is the best thing that's come along on Raw in this decade. But I was so not blown away by Crime Time. And I believe part of it is because all of you gushing over Crime Time did not have to fucking watch Shad Gaspard have wrestling matches in Ohio Valley every week.
I was just going to say.
You guys don't know what you're in for. You better hope it's nothing but wacky skits. Perhaps he's improved dramatically in the last 2 months. I strongly suspect not. But there you go. That was my thoughts on Crime Time. So, like I said, maybe next week I'll be jumping up and down and jumping on the Crime Time bandwagon. But this week I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, they're bringing up Shad Gaspard. So there you go. I've never seen the other guy. I don't even know who it is. I mean, it's probably the neighborhoody.
I would assume so, but
I've never actually seen him work, so I may have to pop in some Ohio Valley that I've got here and check that out. Main event: Randy Orton, Edge, and Lita versus Carlito, Cena, and Trish Stratus. Which, you know, when you can't watch, when you have this, when you're taping this and you start a half hour late and you're fast forwarding through shit, and then you eventually catch up to real time, and you've got to sit through 9 minutes of commercials in the final 17 minutes of this program. That's insufferable. I mean, I'm sure this match was fine. It wasn't great, but it just went on forever. And I saw way too much good wrestling this week to get into this one. It was, like I said, it was all right, but nothing special. Randy Orton ended up giving, whatever her name is, Trish Stratus the RKO. Lita Pinder, that sets up, of course, the match at the pay-per-view. I like how they didn't set up the Edge-Cena match by having Cena pin the champion or something like that. I guess the big draw is supposed to be Trish's final match in Toronto or wherever the hell she's from. Maybe it will be. I don't know. But somehow I don't think that's the big money match on the show. But they have one more week to set up Edge and Cena. So there. And the best part also was they pinned Trish and I guess tried to transfer the heat to Edge because the show just ends with Cena looking demoralized that his team lost. And I'm like, dude, you didn't get pinned. They cheated to pin your female partner. What the hell's the big deal? Like, he was sitting there looking like his dog died. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's selling some pay-per-views right there, but
good.
Unforgiven, Sunday, September 17th, the Air Canada Centre in Toronto, Canada. Tables, ladders, and chairs. Cena versus Edge. For those of you wondering, I think the chances of Cena going to SmackDown are approximately minus 4%. But we shall see. Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon of The Big Show versus DX in a Hell in the Cell match. 2 stip matches on the same show, I should add. Johnny Nitro versus Jeff Hardy, which we will get into in a moment. Spirit Squad versus the Highlanders for the tag titles. Lita versus Trish for the women's title. Carlito versus Randy Orton. Oh, there's a fucking barn burner for you. And Kane versus Umaga appears to be on the show. So I don't know why you're excited about that one.
I'm excited that I was right.
I see. Well, it is rare. So then we had the Highlanders coming out. Our special guest for this evening, which was Roddy Piper, who was very over in Madison Square Garden until they actually agreed to a 6-man tag in which he got into the ring and was fat. God bless Roddy Piper, but
he's large.
His gut was huge.
He has a belly.
At least he kept his shirt on this time. His comeback was actually fine, all things considered, but nobody cared. I couldn't understand it.
They may have been killed because they got the heat on Robbie for about 8 hours.
Yeah.
This match went a long time.
The highlight was they brought out Roddy Piper to give the rub to the Highlanders, and then his first question was, "What's your name?" He didn't know who either guy was, so that was a good one there. So anyway, that was that. Roddy Piper ended up pinning, I believe, Johnny for the pin. So, yeah, the Spirit Squad screwed everybody. Then we've got Nitro, Johnny Nitro, doing an interview with TCS. They were talking about the six-man ladder and that sort of thing. And as they were doing that, in the background, up ran Jeff Hardy with a blank canvas. And he was going to paint a picture while Johnny Nitro was doing his interview. He proceeded to throw yellow paint on the canvas. And then he took some purple paint and made a squiggly line. And he was standing there admiring this great work of art when Nitro saw him, was very, very angry. They got in a shoving match, and Nitro punted the picture about 42 feet. At which point, and I wish we had a drop of this, Jeff Hardy said, and I quote, "That's my painting, man."
Yes. Jeff Hardy's a serious artist, and his work is not to be desecrated.
He was outraged.
He was furious that his creation had been destroyed.
So he took the yellow paint, and he threw the entire bucket of paint on Johnny Nitro, who did not even sell the first can of paint. He merely stood there flabbergasted and said, "Are you kidding me?" At which point Jeff threw the purple paint on him. And then him and Melina both did bumps and fell in the paint and rolled around, and it was great.
Gay wrestling.
This was a 5-star thumbs up, 2 thumbs up little segment right here from Johnny Nitro and the completely insane Jeff Hardy. I wanted to do that one for 1 minute since it was only a 0-second drop right there. Edge and Lita came out and ran down Cena. He did a rap, which he actually had written down on a piece of paper, so it was more a poem. But I don't know.
Regardless, he says he's going to beat Cena and send him to SmackDown.
Edge is so great, it's a tragedy he's losing the belt. But such is life.
What can you do?
He doesn't have a movie coming out. So they had Edge, Nitro, and Orton versus Hardy, Carlito, and Cena. And Nitro didn't even bother taking a quick shower. He came out covered head to toe in purple and yellow paint.
It was awesome.
This was so great. And it got even better because the fans were 1,000% into this match, mostly because it was one of the bigger split reactions in the history of John Cena's career. The children, the women chanted for him. The men tried to drown them out. Testosterone was victorious. But the women and children refused to give up. There was even a "Let's Go Randy" and "Let's Go Edge" chant. There was a "Go to SmackDown" chant, followed by a "Stay on Raw" chant.
Yes, even the fans know that SmackDown sucks.
Yes.
The fans who hate Cena want him to go to SmackDown so they don't have to watch him. The fans who like Cena want him to stay on Raw so they don't have to watch SmackDown.
The Jim Ross actually was talking about these stips and then sort of added, "There's nothing wrong with SmackDown." It's like,
this proves he's not watching it.
if you say so.
If he was watching it, he would know there was lots wrong with it.
If he watched this show, he would realize there was something wrong with it because this show is positioning SmackDown as the total loser brand. Even the wrestlers on SmackDown want to go to Raw. They're all in line and try and be replaced by Cena. So, poor SmackDown.
Yeah, it sucks.
Well, it does suck.
Well, it does. We've often mentioned that the main event for every WWE show should be a 6-man tag because it seems like they're always great and always results in multiple guys getting over. We need to amend that now. The main event for every show needs to be a 6-man tag, and it needs to be in Madison Square Garden, and it needs to involve John Cena.
Well, that ain't going to happen.
I know, but it would be great if it did.
Then we've had, which actually reminds me of a drop here. Here's a question for you. Let's say Vince lives to be 150 years old.
Well, he's not going to.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, they had the match, and the best part was during the John Cena chants, for and against, he was just standing on the apron.
Just minding his own business.
Yeah, they weren't chanting for him to make a comeback. They weren't chanting for him, whatever. He wasn't even in the ring. He was just standing there on the apron. And to me, the best part of it was he finally tagged in and ran wild. He really ran wild. And I sat there and thought, he's not even the worst worker on his team, and he may, in fact, be the best worker on his team. His teammates
Yeah,
were
I would
Carlito
definitely say
and
so.
Jeff Hardy.
Yes, and the same fans, by the way, who thought Cena sucked, they loved Carlito. They thought Carlito was awesome.
And my God, did he not deliver.
They are mistaken. These fans are wrong.
If I were Carlito and my fucking father, my legendary father, was in the crowd, and you're in Madison Square Garden, there's amazing heat, I'd try. Maybe he tried, but if I were Carlito, I'd claim I didn't try, because if I did try and that's what I delivered, I'd just kill myself. And Jeff Hardy was no better. He
Just Jeff.
went for a dive, fucked it up, fell over the top rope, nearly killed himself. To his credit, though, he sold it like he had broken his leg, and they worked him over for the rest of the match. So he at least made something out of his fuck up, but. Good God, just amazing heat for three shitty guys. And on the other team, Johnny Nitro's good, Edge is great, Orton worked very hard for a man making $0 due to a drug test suspension, but he still had some moments of idiocy in here, so I don't know what the future of Randy Orton is. He needs to... I was going to say he needed to get married, and so he'd calm down, but I think he is getting married.
Oh, really?
He's got a fiancée.
Wow.
Hopefully she doesn't listen to this show.
Or
read the internet.
Yes.
Or really hang around with him.
There's a million things that could go wrong.
So we had more Crime Time. Well, it's week 2, and I'm still not high on Crime Time. I just don't get it.
It's funny.
I mean, this was... I'll give you this. This was more funny than last week. But, I mean, if I want to see... two hoodlums, I'll just watch LAX.
Well, there's that, too.
You know what I mean? It's like I can watch LAX, which is just 3 awesome dudes from the hood having great matches, or I can watch fucking Da Beast and the Neighborhoodie doing comedy. Take your pick.
I vote LAX.
I vote LAX.
Down with the hoodlums.
That's right.
I'm about to pee on you. Shut up.
It's funny, but it's chuckle funny. It's not holy shit rewind that let's watch it 5 times funny.
I watched it exactly 1 time.
And I don't never need to see it again.
I need to get Homicide back on this show, actually, now that I think about it, because he's great.
Well, yeah.
So anyway, then we had...
Back then, I was a gangbanger, whatever you want to call it, down with the hoodlums.
That's right. That's good comedy right there. Not the Crime Time. You guys, just wait till you see Shad Gaspard in the ring. Just wait.
That will be funny in a different way.
Just wait. Everybody's all excited about the wackiness of this and not having seen Shad Gaspard. He's really not good, kids. But I haven't seen him in 2 months. This could have been a complete turnaround in the last 60 days. So Trish had her final match on Raw, beating Mickey, who has lost about 30 pounds. He's looking very lean these days. And they had a fine little match for a 3-minute match. Crowd, meh. So,
yeah.
Well, the thing, there was a big thread about did MSG disrespect Trish? And it's like, these 2 girls were put in this death spot.
There's that.
This spot always gets this reaction.
Yeah.
And for all I know, some of the crowd may not have really... I mean...
Tonight was the first night they really promoted it as, this lady's leaving in a week.
No, they did it last week.
What did they do last week to promote? They may have mentioned it.
No, they did the whole Lita thing where Lita revealed that she had gotten the text message and it was half the show. Perhaps not half the show, but it was promoted on the show.
They should have done a bigger deal. They showed the video package this week. They should have done lots of those to make it seem momentous. That they should have made it seem like a legend was retiring.
I don't think people believed until the very end that this was the end. There were a lot of different things going on, but she was not booed.
She wasn't booed.
It was a restless crowd that had
she was
just...
not Hulk Hogan in Madison Square Garden.
No, this was just what it was. And don't worry, everybody. She's going to get her big send-off on Sunday at the pay-per-view, and I guarantee that it will be bigger than this one.
Yeah.
So. Looked like Mickey was more broken up than Trish was also.
That may also be true.
Trish is like, get me the fuck out of this place. Cade Murdoch and Shane McMahon jumped DX backstage. Sean was pummeled by the Big Show. Hunter was sent through the window of a car, bleeding all over the place, that sort of thing, and that was that. So, yeah, mugging by the goddamn Cowboys. That led to Hunter versus Vince. Hunter came out, stumbled out, leaking blood all over the place. There was a commission doctor there who didn't want Hunter to fight, but when Hunter said he wanted to, the doctor just left.
He said, okay.
Begs the question,
What's the point?
What's the point of doctors? So, anyway, Vince beat him up, and then for a guy that hates Hulk Hogan, Hunter stole his entire act.
He did.
He didn't do a big boot, he did a spine buster, but other than that, the whole act.
He hulked up.
No, even before that, he sold forever, he gigged, he
took the finisher.
Yep, he kicked out of the finisher and hulked up, did the 3 punches, did a spine buster, and basically Shane McMahon ran out, and this was a no-holds-barred match Vince had announced earlier after the beating. Shawn ran down, Show ran down as a big schmoz. Everybody got killed, particularly Shawn, who took a power bomb and his head bounced off the mat, which there's another guy that's probably can't
ready
wait
to
get
go.
the fuck out of this place if they're not giving him $1.5 million a year. But Shane botched an atomic drop in here. For those of you that think he's the best worker ever, he's not.
Are there people who think Shane's good?
Oh, Jesus, yes.
Really?
Oh, God, we're going to get ripped apart on the board for this one, I can tell you right now.
Well, Shane McMahon sucks, everyone.
I won't say that. Shane McMahon is a million times better than he has any right to be.
That's fair.
But he's a guy that works once every 9 months, gets to use everybody's finisher, and gets to use every gimmick under the sun, and work with the best workers on the show. So, yeah, you're going to have good matches. But if he were working 200 nights a year with the dregs of the WWE, he'd suck.
He would not look good in there with Chris Masters.
And we totally forgot about Chris Masters' match.
Which is fine.
He lost to Super Crazy. Let's move on. So anyway, they did the whole thing with the bad guys. They beat the good guys up forever. One of those things that just went on way too long. Like they think it's 1986, and the longer they beat on the babyface, the more people can call their cable operator a week in advance. But Hunter finally got pinned right there in the middle of the ring. So, yeah. That should surprise none of you, by the way. If any of you are thinking, wow, Vince McMahon pinned Hunter Hearst Helmsley in the middle of Madison Square Garden, I cannot believe that. Well,
you're dumb.
This
is exactly what you should have expected. Move for move.
Vince McMahon once beat Hunter for the WWE title.
Yes.
Vince McMahon beat Ken Shamrock in a shoot fight.
He did that too?
He took down Kurt Angle.
On an airplane?
No, in the ring.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that too.
Vince McMahon did not take down Kurt Angle on the airplane. They had an amateur match.
I see.
Are you kidding me?
I thought I remembered the story wrong.
You clearly remembered that story wrong. He's an Olympic champion. Vince McMahon's a dork.
I know that.
Vince McMahon is completely wooden. He's like him and his
He's
wife.
also fragile.
There's 2 robots. One that's a robot like a speak and spell, and another one that's just physically a robot. So anyway, the match was what it was. WWE. There was a run-in by Linda McMahon right there. So I give this Raw a thumbs up. It was all things considered, it was a fine show.
I would give it a thumbs up, especially the first hour.
I don't know if it
or whenever the 6-man ended.
I guess, usually I see these shows and I'd say I have zero interest in the pay-per-view. I have about 10% interest. I'm interested in the Cena Edge. Just because I know the atmosphere is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Edge is going to be the biggest babyface on Earth, and Cena will be booed out of really all of North America and perhaps the Earth. And you got the Trish thing coming up, and you've got, I don't give a shit about the Hell in the Cell and everything else, but I'm excited about the main event just because of the craziness that's going to be involved. So
and
Raw,
there will be craziness.
Got to give this show a thumbs up, everybody. So
yeah,
there you
much.
go. There was some good stuff here and there, but it was a show. It was a show where here's what this show was. There's a lot of bad decisions. Just like a lot of. I mean, we'll get to it, but the main event was 6 dudes everyone hated.
That's what I was thinking at the same time.
And, little stupid stuff like that, and the decision, let's put 6 random men in the ring for an Intercontinental title match and just have them all doing moves at the same time. With no build. We'll do a 2-minute build. Bad idea.
Horrendous idea.
And then, you had one guy that actually was a babyface, Edge, and let's just turn him. That was a bad idea. And then it was just a show of, we've got nothing. We've got no real new feud, so we're just going to extend every single feud, far past the point of no return.
Yeah.
McMahon's DX is going to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Edge and Cena is going to continue.
Yeah.
Kane and Umaga is going to continue.
Thank God.
Am I missing any? I'm sure we'll get to it as we go on here, but Johnny Nitro and I don't even know what the hell's going to continue.
Carlito and Orton.
Jeff Hardy and Johnny Nitro is going to continue.
Super Crazy and Chris Masters.
Chris Masters is on his way out, dude. Well, let's talk about the show, because there's much to discuss in this piece of shit broadcast here. Lillian introduced Cena, who was booed tremendously. It was 1 minute before Lawler got in a Bizarro Land reference. Cena was cutting a promo about how he was here and he was the champion. Everybody hated him. Out came Edge, and everybody went absolutely ballistic until Edge, of course, turned on the people, saying Montreal was not really part of Canada. It was just a bunch of geeks, this, that, and the other thing. So they turned on him, briefly cheered Cena, but it was like, we're going to cheer you because right now we hate this guy, but we still hate you. So in the end, it was just like they hated both guys. And long story short, Edge has a rematch clause, which he will execute at some point down the road. And they had, I believe, a number of men run in. Lance Cade, Trevor Murdoch, and then we had DX, of all people, decided to make the save for John Cena. Why? I don't know. I don't know. Why?
Because Cade and Murdoch beat them up last week, and they wanted to get revenge on Cade and Murdoch.
Fuck, I was supposed to remember that incredible angle.
They mentioned it in passing, or I would not have remembered.
All right, well, that's why. So, anyway, they signed a 6-man for the main event, which was that, and just an opening segment. It was fun for a while because the fans hated Cena so much and loved Edge so much, and then they just had to kill that dead by turning Edge. And they didn't really get into the Shawn Michaels hate till later.
No, I actually, for most of the show, I thought they had actually moved on. What a fool I was.
Idiot.
But yeah, I think this segment was pretty much the highlight of the show, and that's not good when it's the opener.
I don't know if it was or not. I can't imagine that being the highlight of the show. So I'm going to keep going here until I actually find the highlight.
All right.
I do know the highlight of the show. We'll get into it in a moment. And it was a highlight. It was one of the highlights of my life, really. Kane faced Umaga, and they had another bad match. Kane did this one spot where he was running the ropes, and he did a flying shoulder tackle, and it was worse than anything you did in the match yesterday.
He looked very bad.
It was horrid.
He looked clumsy.
Awkward. Speaking of awkward,
yes.
That's another drop I should have kept. The awkward moment drop. That's gone forever. You make your own awkward moment drop. It's just silence.
That really was very bad of me.
It's dead air.
I acknowledge that was my fault and it sucked.
Thank you. Kane did this horrible spot, as we mentioned, very, very clumsy. And the finish was a chair shot DQ. Keep that in mind, kids. A chair shot DQ. All right, so then after commercial, Kane was still killing Alejandro in the back. He beat him up after the match and dragged him backstage, and Umaga went to make the save, and Kane was about to stab Alejandro with a steel spike when Umaga made the save. So I don't know where this is leading, and the key here is I don't care.
That's true.
Something went wrong.
The only thing I have to say about all this is the match was bad and boring, and what kind of saved it was at the end, Kane did the bit where he was whacking Umaga with a chair, and Umaga would not go down. And on the third time, he finally went down, and everyone went crazy. And I thought to myself, this is bad, but all anyone's going to remember about this is that finish, and that kind of worked. So they may have.
I actually forgot about it until you just mentioned it right now.
Well, I'm not thinking of you. I'm thinking of the fans of Montreal.
I see. So. They did a deal throughout the show where Coach was having everybody send a special get well message to Vince McMahon. And all I got to say is next week, we are going to hear this again.
I feel gnarly tonight. Gnarly.
He is going to feel very gnarly, and he's probably going to have a flip out because everybody said, gee, Vince, I hope you get well, and then they started talking about themselves. Everybody had an agenda. That was the key here. So hopefully Vince comes back next week and just goes all ape shit and goes crazy and fires some people and screams and flips out, and life will be good again. We need more crazy Vince. We need more crazy Flair. There has not been enough of it on this program. Lovely Maria did a deal, and the Spirit Squad came in, and the key to this is Johnny Jeter. There are too many Johnnies on this show. Johnny Jeter said he was going to make Vince proud because he challenged Ric Flair
Oh, yes. The Nature Boy.
He had challenged Ric Flair to a match and was going to dedicate it to Vince. The match was next. Suffice to say, Johnny Jeter did not defeat Ric Flair. It was weird enough seeing them actually have a battle together. Johnny gave him the worst backdrop I've ever seen on the floor. Almost killed him. Key with the backdrop is you want to get up in the air.
Yeah.
You get up real high in the air and you just turn over and you got plenty of time and you land flat on your back and everything's great.
I always hated taking backdrops, and I usually scooted up, and even I know you want to get up high in the air.
Yeah, that's the higher you get, the better on the backdrop. And Johnny Jeter decided he didn't want to throw Flair very high in the air and almost killed the poor old man. And it was a finish that Flair went for the figure four and Johnny cradled him. The finish of Bryan versus Vinny.
I was certain that Johnny Jeter had been watching it, so I know Ric Flair was not.
I think Ric Flair was. I truly believe. I believe that Ric Flair watched Bryan versus Vinny, and he was so impressed that he decided to go on Raw and recreate the finish, except as a tribute to me for carrying you for 14 minutes. He reversed the cradle and pinned Johnny Jeter.
I don't believe any of that.
That's why this was the greatest moment in the history of Raw.
I see.
Ric Flair redeemed me in front of millions.
You are the most arrogant man I've ever seen.
How dare you say that?
Yes, I'm sure Ric Flair, the number one thing in his heart was, I got to make this up to Super Chico.
That's right.
Super Chico was wronged.
Didn't you see the text message with him and Trish yesterday? Where Trish goes, can I do a chop? And he's like, please do. He probably saw the finish to our match and was like, that was a tribute to me.
Well,
now
it kind of
I'm
was.
going to do a tribute to Bryan. That's what he said.
It could have been a tribute to Bryan and Vinny.
No, it was a tribute to me. He
Asshole.
No, he watched the match and he's like, God, I remember back when I had to carry Elegante to a 3-star match. And young Bryan here deserves a shout out on Raw. That was my shout out from Ric Flair last night.
Woo.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just let you believe that then, because it clearly makes you very happy.
It's true.
Of course it is.
Rick, you don't think Ric Flair sends text messages? You don't think he knows about YouTube and the internet?
You're implying...
The internet is not something that you just dump something on. It's not a big truck. It's a series of tubes.
What the hell?
It's a series of tubes.
What was that?
Doesn't matter. So I just want to send a special shout out right now to the Nature Boy, the best wrestler in the world, the man for whom the figure four is named, the man for whom I did that match last night and that finish. It was all for the Nature Boy.
Well, there you go.
So anyway, Lita did something or other, and Mickie James walked in. They got in a big argument, and a slap occurred.
They were arguing about Trish.
Who's gone?
Trish is retired and still a major character on Raw.
They both want the title. The woman's title, that is.
I suggested just stay retired.
Yeah, I've been suggesting that for weeks now.
That's true.
Does not need to be brought back. This Mickie James-Lita deal led to Lita versus Candice.
I'm afraid so.
Yeah. Randy Orton came out. His lip was all stitched up. They did this big promo dealia bob, and it ended up leading to... let's see what happened here. Orton made the comment that he was the future of the industry and the future of Raw, and he proved it last night. And I thought, you pinned Carlito. I never knew it was such an important, career-making performance last night that he's now the man. So Johnny Nitro came out and said, no, he was the man, because he, in fact, pinned Jeff Hardy last night. So then Jeff Hardy and Chris Masters and 18 million men came out, and as we mentioned, it became a Johnny Nitro, Randy Orton, Carlito, Chris Masters, Super Crazy, Jeff Hardy, six-pack challenge for the Intercontinental title, and it was fucking horrible.
Oh, my God. From minute one, just the fact that the Intercontinental title was on the line in a six-way for absolutely no reason. And then this was basically an indie battle royal.
It was, and it was an indie
every Tacoma B&I Marketplace battle royal with the ICW crew.
No, this was worse, and I will tell you why.
Okay.
This was a battle royal, but at least with a battle royal, you have the drama, or the supposed drama, of men being thrown over the top rope and eliminated. You didn't have that here.
No.
You sort of had near falls, but everybody there were 18 men in the ring, and everybody was breaking everything up. And I will say that the last 1 minute of this was great. Super crazy, went up to the top. Jeff Hardy tossed him off. Jeff Hardy hit the senton on Chris Masters, and then Johnny Nitro threw Jeff Hardy out of the ring and pinned Chris Masters. Chris Masters is fucked.
Yeah.
So it was obvious the day the drug testing deal came down that he was fucked. I said it a year ago, and it resulted in a gigantic thread with IMM about the greatness of Chris Masters versus my belief that there was nothing great about Chris Masters. Chris Masters had a physique. That was all he had going for him. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps this thread will start again today, but I think after a year, and I think after the last several weeks, it's pretty goddamn clear that without the physique, there ain't nothing there.
Yeah.
And 3 jobs in a row. That's a sign of something. And it's not the sign of he's about to jump to ECW to be the top star. This is the sign of...
that wouldn't stun me at this point.
He may be a semi-main eventer in Deep South soon, or a main eventer at the local...
the B&I, actually.
7-Eleven.
Sure.
So anyway.
So this was a giant thumbs down.
More crime time. I see nothing in crime
here's
time.
the problem. Are these funny? They're kind of funny, but it's not anything Shad Gaspard or Neighborhoody are doing. The funny part is just the announcer in his boisterous white man voice spitting out the hoodlum phrases.
And even really, that's not funny.
It's not hysterical.
Maybe I'm the only one. Maybe me and you are the only ones. But to me, it's like it's a 5-second one-time joke, and we've now seen 30 seconds of it for 3 straight weeks. And I'm still dreading the fact that we're going to have to see Shad Gaspard in the ring.
Well, we actually saw him in this skit. He threw a strike of some kind, and it was horrible. He couldn't. He sucks.
He's not good.
These guys are doomed.
Yes. I actually got the Ohio Valley report, too, because I have not seen Ohio Valley in 2 months, so I had to ask how young Shad Gaspard is doing.
And?
The answer was he's horrible. He can't work, and he hurts people.
Oh, perfect.
Stiffs them. Actually, I should be fair. He hits them very hard. It doesn't hurt them, but...
There's a difference.
And it's not like... It's not like Chris Benoit who chops you as hard as he can and it looks great. He hits you really hard and it doesn't look good. That
awesome.
Is the worst.
That's the way to go.
Everybody listening to this right now, if you're an indie wrestler and you hit people really hard and it looks like shit, just quit. Just do everybody a favor and get out of this business. And never work me. Not that there's any chance of that happening ever again. But Lita faced Candice. It was all right.
I will say this.
Candice has improved dramatically.
Candice, A, has improved dramatically, and B, was working her... Well, she's worked her ass off to improve dramatically, and was working hard here. It just went way too long.
It went way too long. It's... Lita and Trish have a special chemistry, and Lita has it with no one else.
Yeah.
And Candice, God bless Candice, she's kind of a... She comes off as sort of a bimbo. I think she's actually much smarter than she appears to be. And she is a girl that actually has dedicated herself to becoming a better pro wrestler.
Yeah.
Which you can't say about a whole lot of girls they've had in this company. And she threw a wheel kick. I'm not big on moves, because there's more to wrestling, obviously, than moves. But when Candice threw a fucking wheel kick, or whatever the fuck you call that thing, I almost fell out of my chair. I was like, holy shit, she's been practicing.
Yeah.
And I guess the amazing thing was... It fit in the context of the match. I think that's what amazed me most. She didn't just throw it because she could do it. It was like it was her chance to make a little comeback, and she threw a little wheel kick.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jesus God. So she gets a big thumbs up, old Candice Michelle. And the crowd chanted a lot of things, many of which were not very nice, although I don't know what the hell they said, but it wasn't, Lita, we love you. It was something, I was going to say whore, but
I'm a whore.
You are a whore. A very ugly fat one, but a whore nonetheless.
That's why I'm begging for more money right now.
What a jerk.
Wouldn't it be funny if they actually were chanting We Love Lita in French?
I was hoping they were chanting that whole 7-second drop right there just over and over again. We should go back and check. If Ric Flair did a match for me and the audience was chanting about how you were an ugly fat whore, I don't even know.
I think it would be time to shut this place down.
It would. That would be the last Brian and Vinny show. I'd move on to a different business of some sort. Movie reviews or something of that
Playing
nature.
the blues.
That is very possible, in fact. So then we had, by the way, the finish was Mickey distracting Lita, allowing Candice to pin her with a powerbomb off the middle rope. So Lita is now doing her jobs on the way out. They're losing all their women, and at least we've got Candice. We'll have Candice and Mickie James, and
Maria?
I don't know who else.
Oh.
No.
Not to wrestle, just to beat Maria.
The main event was Cena DX versus Edge, Lance Cade, and Trevor Murdoch. And as noted,
Well, let's just run them down one by one.
they hated Cena.
They hated Edge because he buried Montreal. They hated DX because of Montreal 10 years ago. They hated Cena just on general principle. And they hated Cade and Murdoch because they were in the main event and no one cared about them.
That's close to what I was going to say.
Yeah.
They hated Cena because he beat Edge, who they loved until the beginning of the show.
Sure.
Then they hated Edge, but they still harbored their resentment for Cena.
Mm-hmm.
They hated Shawn Michaels because of Montreal, and I think they only hated Hunter because of association with Shawn Michaels.
Sure.
I don't think everybody knows the backstory of Montreal being the result of Triple H deciding that Shawn should not do a job under any circumstances to Bret Hart. They hated Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch because of their existence. It was basically the deal. And that's everybody. And worse,
So they had a match.
No, it gets worse. Who did they get the heat on of all the people? The one man they hated least of all was probably Triple H.
Yeah.
So they got the heat on Shawn.
Yes.
Brilliant.
There was a vocal minority who chanted HBK, but the majority was just fine to see this guy get his ass kicked.
Hunter made the big comeback, and everybody was running wild. And then he hit Murdoch with a chair for the DQ.
And that was that. Yes, Trevor Murdoch and Lance Cade cannot be pinned in this six-man
No,
tag.
that's not the point. They've got a 2-hour show, and they've got 5 matches, and 2 of them end in a chair shot fucking DQ.
Well, there's that, too.
They couldn't think of anything else for Umaga and Kane.
There's a million reasons this is a bad idea.
This was 10 shades of stupid, this was. And crowd hated it. And afterwards, everybody surrounded Edge. It was Cena, Shawn Michaels, and Hunter surrounding Edge. Shawn gave Edge the super kick. Hunter gave Edge the pedigree. And John Cena stood there.
Yes.
Didn't even get to do his move. He just stood there like a dork. And God bless Jim Ross, but he was trying to sell this as what a ride this was this evening, and this was crazy, and he didn't make it tonight. This was a failure, and it wasn't his fault. He tried. Sometimes you just can't sell a show as being any good.
And this was not any good.
This was no good. And I don't know what else to say about it except,
thumbs down.
Yeah, it was probably a thumbs down show. I don't like to say straight thumbs. Well, Ric Flair had a match for me. I got to give this a thumbs up just for that.
Fine.
But if you take out the Ric Flair match, this was definitely a thumbs down. This was an Asiatic spike down, in fact. Raw was not nearly this entertaining. Although it was entertaining at the beginning because they warned us that we had to tune in for the first 10 minutes of the show. And we tuned in and the power was out. Actually, when we first tuned in, it was in the middle of the show opening graphic and there was Kurt Angle.
The very first image we saw was a screaming Kurt Angle, and we were terrified, as I was.
That was surreal. So the power went out, as I noted, and as everybody learned when they went to school as a child, whenever the lights go out, everybody's excited.
Yeah.
They were very, very excited here with the lights out. So I think everybody should remember that next time there's no heat. Just turn the lights off.
Sure.
Shine a spotlight on the ring. But the show opened with Candice versus Lita in a first-round match for the women's title. They didn't even announce there was a tournament. They just started the tournament matches. That was a good one.
I think they planned it, but their power went out. I think that's what Lillian was trying to say when we cannot hear her.
I see. So anyway, Edge, Jonathan Coachman, who is still taking over for Vince McMahon, who is injured. I don't know what he is. Is he a heel? Is
Coach?
he a babyface?
Who the fuck knows?
It depends on the segment. He bounces back and forth throughout the show. This, he was a heel. He signed Edge to be the special referee. Edge immediately speared Candice, Lita pinned her. That was the end. And afterwards, John Cena came out. They bantered back and forth. Cena wanted a title shot.
The power was back on by
Called
now.
Lita a whore. Lita finally flipped out, said she was a human being with feelings, which no one in the crowd wanted to hear. They booed vociferously. She said just because she was a girl didn't mean they should say these things to her. She said Cena sucked. She said everyone knew Edge was a better wrestler than him. She said everybody knew that everybody in the whole locker room was a better wrestler. She said even she was a better wrestler than John Cena, which is in fact going too far, but let's just go with him. Cena said, yeah, if I had one hand tied behind my back and was blind. So anyway, long story short, this led to Edge signing, I guess, or offering Lita versus Cena, with Cena having an arm tied behind his back. Lita was not down with this until about 10 minutes later when they went to meet with Coach to get it signed, at which point she was very, very happy, which made no sense whatsoever. So that was the main event of the show. That was signed to be the main event, and what a ratings hook that one was. And we had Johnny Nitro versus Kane for the IC title. Sucked. They announced,
At least it was short.
They announced that Umaga had been banned from interfering. And I thought, what happens if he interferes? A disqualification? And we found out, because Umaga ran in, and it was a disqualification. And that was it.
This is the most ineffective banning ever.
I
also want to know, why don't they ban everyone from interfering in everything?
Well, because they're retarded.
And apparently it wouldn't matter anyway, because they would just interfere.
Yeah. Crowd booed in the "this is lame" sort of sense. DX plugged the WWE magazine. This was good for two reasons, and two reasons only. One, they smiled and gave a huge thumbs up. And the second was when Hunter used the words wacky facial hair. He said that for me. I truly believe that.
In reference to himself, by the way.
Yeah. Then Maria walked up. They did some BJ jokes, some comedy with Eugene, and it largely was horrible. Coach met with Shelton, and they had a big argument about who was blacker and who was less black. It was dumb.
This was lame and very poorly acted until it got to the point where Shelton was supposed to be angry with Coach and yelling at him, and then suddenly he became Laurence Olivier. I really believed he hated Jonathan Coachman.
Well, he probably does.
Yeah.
That's the method, kids.
That's the secret.
So Coach and he had this big deal, and then up walked Jeff Hardy, who thought he was black. And he may have been the blackest of the three at this particular moment, at least in the crime time sense. And they ended up signing a match for later, and then up came Edge and Lita. This segment just
all one segment
kept going. They signed the match, like I said, and Coach, who had been a heel earlier, suddenly announced that if Edge laid one hand on John Cena, he lost his title shot. So now he was a babyface.
I think he was actually heel at the beginning of this segment. I'm not sure.
He may have switched over about the time that he said that Vince McMahon could never be a racist because his biggest hero was Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes. Let's move on.
Ric Flair faced Mikey of the Spirit Squad. Mikey did not look good. They had a fine little match, but there was something weird with Mikey.
He looked okay at the beginning, and then something happened.
I don't know if he was nervous or if he got hurt or what the deal was, but the point of it is a random Spirit Squad man ran in. Flair's running the Spirit Squad gauntlet, apparently. Flair threw the man over the top and then turned around and punched Mikey.
Brian's allergic to punching.
You know, that was almost perfectly timed.
We should have stopped the show.
Pardon me, everybody. Anyway, what was I saying? Ric Flair punched Mikey and then pinned him.
With a punch.
Yeah.
Ric Flair pinned Mike Mondo with a punch in the middle of the ring on Monday Night Raw.
Pinned him with a punch.
Punched him in the face.
By the way, I got to go back.
Pinned him.
I got to go back to Guerrero's Del Ring. I just remembered something. We talked about how the finishes didn't matter. I changed my mind. The finish of the opening match with Shocker, Wagner Jr., and everything like that was Shocker went for the figure four, and Wagner small packaged him for the pin. So it is now the second week in a row. Now it's gone international. Mm-hmm. Men in promotions around the world are saluting Bryan versus Vinny.
And once again, they were better than we were.
Shocker and Dr. Wagner Jr. did this finish for me.
Not me.
No, of course not. I truly believe this.
I had a problem with that because in this situation, that would make me Dr. Wagner. And I have no problems with that.
And you know, the other part of the proof is we're not going to see this finish in TNA because Vince Russo doesn't like me. Just wait, kids. You'll see. You won't see anybody turning a figure four into a small package in TNA anytime soon.
It's been banned.
Yeah, it has been banned. Russo's like, we're not doing that finish.
Fuck that Alvarez guy.
They may make a fat wrestler named Vinny who always jobs, too. Or actually be named Brian.
Trying to think what... Those rename Brother Runt Dudley B. Alvarez.
They just may. They may. We don't really know what Brother Runt's name, like his first name is. He could just be Chico Runt.
Indeed.
We had...
Guillermo Runt.
Jeff Hardy. We watched my cousin Guillermo do some gymnastics today. He was pretty good.
Yeah. I asked you, is he better than you? And you said, yes.
I actually laughed when you asked me that question because of the absurdity of it. He's on NBC. Yeah, doing gymnastics.
Were you ever on NBC?
Yeah, no.
Were you ever on King 5?
Yeah, not for gymnastics. Actually, it was for gymnastics. They filmed in the gymnastics facility. It was for the YWF, actually.
That doesn't count then.
Why?
You weren't at a gymnastics competition.
I did a flip.
Oh, well then.
I went off a trampoline, in fact.
I apologize to your flippiness.
What did I do off the trampoline? Oh, we laid down a mat, and we ran really fast, hit the trampoline, bounced about 18 feet in the air, and then splashed the mat.
Just
we pretended that was how we trained.
Please tell me you have this on tape somewhere.
I do.
Yay!
I should show you tonight. You'd laugh your ass off. Jeff Hardy faced Shelton Benjamin. It was a decent little match, and again a small package finish. Thumbs up to Jeff Hardy. 2 thumbs up.
Sure. This bored me greatly.
It is interesting that WWE hires TNA's drug addict, and he appears cleaned up. That's odd.
Well,
hey, listen, I did not expect that. I expected him to have missed at least 8 dates by now.
There is a wellness policy.
There is.
Man,
Jeff Hardy's been totally fine since return.
God bless them. They're adhering to it.
Orton and Chris Masters.
Most of the time.
Orton and Chris Masters versus Carlito and Super Crazy. I didn't even bother watching this. It was horrible.
I know the answer, but I still can't help but wonder, what did Orton do to be with this clown troupe?
Well, who else do they have?
I don't know, but God, he's so out of place. It's the C team and the main eventer, or the past main eventer and probably the future main eventer. Just Carlito's wretched. Carlito's significantly worse than Chris Masters. Chris Masters sucks. Crazy's good, but no one takes him seriously. And then there's just Randy Orton is also there.
Yeah. I just got to say that the lockup that Carlito and Chris Masters did.
Carlito in particular.
Paul.
Oh.
The Apostle Paul, after 4 weeks of training, has a better fucking lockup than Carlito and Chris Masters.
Carlito debuted the jumping lockup tonight, and there's a reason no one's ever done it before.
I just imagine like Les Thatcher and Lance Storm and Buddy, just wrestling trainers around the world all vomiting at the same time. This was the most horrendous lockup I've ever seen on a Major League Wrestling show.
What would Buddy have done if Carlito had done that lockup with him?
If Buddy had been in the house when that happened, I think he would have thrown something at the television.
No, I don't know what if he'd been in the ring.
He would have kicked them both out of the ring. He would have done something, he would have done a drastic measure.
He may have also used profanity.
Doubtful. Eric Bischoff came out and said he had a book that was coming out. It was, the deal was Coach introduced him because he's friends with Eric, and then Eric buried Vince, and Coach didn't like it, so he cut his mic. This was a one-time thing. They just wanted Bischoff here for one night to plug the book before he's gone. And, yeah, what a shitty segment.
This was lame.
This sold no books. That's saying something. On a show with 5 million people, you probably sold no books. Geeks. We had Lita versus Cena with one hand tied behind his back. Edge took the ref. Lita gave him a thumb to the eye and a low blow. Didn't matter. Cena hoisted her up with one arm, gave her a one-arm FU, and pinned her. It was a great finish, actually.
It was. I know it's Lita. I know she's 120 pounds or something, but he FU'd her with one arm and just launched her into the air.
You were amazed. I in no way was even remotely amazed. I mean, all he did was squat down and jump up, and
yeah.
And
away she went.
I don't think he did anything with his arms whatsoever. It was just he did a squat. He did a squat. Vince.
He did a power clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not even the bar and 245s. That's the bar and 225s.
Yeah.
This is John Cena. This
strong.
was not an impressive feat of strength. I hope you're squatting more than the bar and 245s.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is John Cena.
I'm not throwing it over my shoulder either.
Okay, so you don't think if you put a bar with 225s on, you couldn't hoist it up real easily? I sure hope you could, dude. Otherwise,
I'll try it at the gym tomorrow.
Okay, do it.
I'll take a bar of 225s and I will try throwing it through the air.
Do it.
All right.
I bet you can. Otherwise, Granny was right.
And I'm a... What did she say?
You're
frail?
You're frail.
Yeah.
We had... and then afterwards, they did the big angle, which was Booker, Finlay, and Regal hitting the ring. And Regal, in particular, beat the fuck out of John Cena. And if you have this on DVR and you... I don't know how you wouldn't have noticed this, but if you didn't, just go back and watch Regal punching him in the face as hard as he could.
Just clubbering him.
And soccer kicking him in the face. And I don't know what the deal was. Hopefully in the morning we will have an answer to this question, but he pummeled this young lad, this young American.
As only Regal can.
And Ross was screaming about SmackDown hooligans, which made this great. And they humbled him. Those were the exact words. Booker took off his boots.
The best part was Ross said they've humbled him.
No, they're going to humble him.
They're going to humble him. And you hear Lawler go, humbled.
Like, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Too bad we got rid of all the Sheiky drops.
Yeah.
Oh, well. They were overplayed. So, yeah, they humbled him. They stuck the foot in the mouth. And, if it had not been Regal hitting him as hard as he could, and Finlay, and Booker T just being Booker T, this would have went on so fucking long, way too long.
Yeah.
And it still did go on a little too long, but it could have been worse with just bigger dorks.
I thought it was awesome, and then it did start to go too long and drag on, and it got to the point where why is no one helping Cena? That being said, it was still good. And the best part was the heels, who were also on SmackDown, when it was over, they just got the heat.
Yes.
They got the heat for the show. There's interest now for the SmackDown main event, which is
somebody figured
the
out
first
at some
time
point,
ever.
Somebody figured out that there is a SmackDown.
Yeah.
It's like Vince McMahon was like, that show's still on the air? Jesus.
And it's their own show. And the better it does, the better they do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they decided...
There was a revelation in the WWE
They decided to promote
recently.
SmackDown for the first time in Christ knows how long, and it worked.
So afterwards, Edge grabbed the mic and said, you're going to get your ass kicked Friday on SmackDown because Cena's working the show. They're doing some sort of tag match.
They're doing the six-man.
I know, who's Cena's partners?
Batista and Lashley.
Where the fuck were they? They didn't bother coming to Raw?
Well, no.
Losers.
They're not on Raw.
So anyway, he said, you get your ass kicked Friday, and you shall get your ass kicked Monday because I am executing my rematch clause in a 15-foot-high steel cage.
So there you go. They promoted the main event for SmackDown this week and the main event for Raw next week.
There is, in fact, a UFC Diva Search special going head-to-head with Raw, if you're wondering why the rematch clause has been invoked in a steel cage next week on Raw. There's your answer,
They now
kids.
fear the ring girl search.
No, they fear... I mean, they did not care about UFC for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Back in November, the first head-to-head special came, and the story was that Vince McMahon boned up on his UFC. He began studying it for a short period of time, and he came to the conclusion that it was not a battle that needed to be fought. Well, this was before the buy rates exploded through the roof. Now things have changed.
I see.
They have booked the Diva strip poker deal head-to-head with Ken and Tito.
Yeah.
They have now booked a steel cage world title Edge Cena match, their top rating match for the Raw opposite a fucking UFC Diva Search special. So yeah, Vince knows now. There's a war going on. It ain't a full-scale war or anything like that. They haven't tried to book a pay-per-view head-to-head yet or anything crazy, but the war has begun, or there is a war in progress, so... I realize you're still down. Don't fuck around with the knobs. What did you think of Raw?
Just turn myself back up. Oh, come on. I thought Raw was about 90 minutes of crap surrounded by about 30 or 40 minutes of great stuff.
That's my painting, man!
Jeff Hardy. Let's run it down very, very quickly. What did you say about it? I heard crap and
About
something.
90 minutes of crap surrounded by 30 or 40 minutes of great stuff is what I said.
All right. That's somewhat fair. I would disagree with your percentages. I would say it was more.
Well, I didn't...
48%.
Slide rule. But.
Not 42. The main event, of course, we knew well in advance. It was Cena versus Edge for the WWE title in a cage match. going head-to-head with the Octagon Girl search, which, in hindsight, what a waste. What a waste. They should have just saved this for a pay-per-view main event or something like that, because that Octagon Girl search was not beaten.
Nothing to be feared.
So we had DX coming out, opening up the show, doing their usual spiel. Coach came out, signed them to a Texas Tornado match. Highlanders, Cade Murdoch, Visser, and Charlie Haas were out there. Ross was trying to explain the rules. He said all the guys were in the ring at the same time, and the first team to get a pinfall or submission won. And then he added, as I understand it.
Yeah.
And I thought, we have now reached a point in the history of pro wrestling where nobody has any fucking idea what's going on.
Exactly, and this is Jim Ross. This is not Michael Cole having no idea what's going on.
Somebody yelled at me on the board the other day for not knowing something. The Rhino concussion deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were actually angry.
Yeah.
That I didn't know. Like, it was my fault. Like, it was my fault that TNA has done such a shitty job of promoting angles that I could possibly not know this information. And my comeback, which I will say here on this show, is apparently Christian hit a concerto on Rhino. This is like 2 weeks ago.
What I remember was he put Rhino's head against the wall and whacked him with a chair.
Okay.
And it ended there.
Yes, it ended there. I don't recall seeing a deal on the pay-per-view, a recap.
No.
I could have sworn I didn't see it. And we watched it pretty much, we didn't do a lot of fast-forwarding.
I don't think so.
Perhaps I fast-forwarded through it, but point is, I didn't know. And maybe, maybe if they'd done a few fucking replays, if this is such an important angle, I'd know.
We did not see doctors attending to Rhino. We did not see Rhino loaded into an ambulance.
We didn't see a recap.
We didn't see Rhino with an ice pack on his head.
A fucking recap, dude.
No, they showed it
That's
one
all
time.
I'm asking is for a recap. Maybe if they didn't have dudes being chokeslammed on a thumbtacks and being none the worse for wear. Maybe if we didn't see guys getting hung by straps, guys thrown off high things, guys taking cop killers or whatever else and being fine the next week. Maybe if injuries were actually sold, I would have remembered Rhino getting hit with a concerto on a wall. Instead, it was just another fucking thing on a show, and I forgot it.
Yeah.
This ain't my fault. Now, with that said, I also noticed something else while I'm burying TNA here. I was watching Raw, and they had a match with Nikki of the Spirit Squad. And the funny thing was, he's standing there, and I was like, that's Nikki.
I think I see where you're going with this.
Okay, it's been 4 years I can't tell the Naturals apart, and I fucking knew Nikki of the Spirit Squad. Think about that.
Yeah.
And this ain't my fault, kids. This is not my fault. Let's get in the show before I really go off.
So there was this Texas Tornado thing going on.
DX won.
Yeah.
And then Coach announced that he ran the show, so DX decided they were going to run him off. And it became hide and seek. Jeff Hardy beat Johnny Nitro for the IC title. I was very excited. So, as mentioned weeks back, perhaps now he can trade it for a skateboard. That is an angle that I want to see.
I'd be satisfied if he just put wheels on it.
Sure. And was skating around.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jeff Hardy and Johnny Nitro. And I'm going to say this about the main event too. This is a criticism I have of WWE, but it's a funny one because of what I'm going to say after the criticism. Edge and Cena started in January.
Yeah.
It's October, dude.
Indeed.
February, March, April,
10 months.
May, June, July, August, September, October. It's 9 months, dumbass.
How does that work? It's only 12 in a year.
It's been 9 months, and this program is still going on. I like how
10?
you're so annoyed to be proven wrong that you're actually doing the counting again. January, February,
I see.
March.
So you're counting February as 1 month old. Okay. You said it started in January, so I assume January would be 1.
Okay, so October's not over yet. That's still 9.
Fine.
Jesus. Anyway, as I was saying, this feud's been going on for 9 fucking months. Mm-hmm. Half the SmackDown feuds are the same shit for 8 months. Johnny Nitro and Jeff Hardy, they seem to wrestle every single week. With that said, I give Jeff Hardy and Johnny Nitro permission to feud for the rest of their lives. For some reason, they have awesome chemistry together. They always have good matches. It makes no sense, but it happens. And Jeff Hardy is like, talk about proving your worth.
Yeah.
In a business where 95% of people trying to prove their worth prove what fuck-ups they actually are, this is a man who's actually proving his detractors wrong.
Wow, yeah. That is rare.
And John Cena and Edge, these fuckers can feud till I'm long dead.
And they made it abundantly clear how long this was going on. They showed a recap of pretty much everything.
I think what they were trying to push during this match was this is a feud of the year and a feud for the ages.
Well, that too, and they never came out and said it, but they were hinting that this was going to be the end of it all.
This ain't.
I know. I don't want it to be. That's what it occurred to me watching this too. Is like, I've seen these men wrestle 1,000 times, and that's cool. I had no problem with that.
They are exactly like Hardy and Nitro in that they complete each other.
They are perfect for each other.
They really are, and it's thumbs up stuff. But
we'll get to that in a minute. The IC title match was indeed a thumbs up. Yeah. Just good stuff.
Jeff Hardy won.
Clean.
They may fire Melina anytime. I could give a shit. In fact, I would rejoice if they fired her. They did an angle where she just screamed randomly.
You talking about the backstage thing?
I hate her.
They brought her backstage to interrupt Jeff Hardy's victory promo he was cutting, and she started to scream randomly, so Hardy left. She kept screaming. He came back and just put his hand on her mouth. And she shut up, and he pulled his hand away, and she screamed again, and finally he gave up and he left again, so I don't know what the hell the point of this was, other than to point out, look, she's annoying.
Just fire.
Maybe they will.
I'm not a person that wants to see people lose their job. But if that's what it takes, just fire her. You know, I haven't ranted about Melina for months now, actually. I used to rant every single time she was on TV.
Yes.
And finally, I just sort of was like, fuck it. I don't have... My life's too short to bitch about this.
She is also... She's been screaming much less than she used to.
Well, that all changed tonight.
Well, tonight they wanted her to.
This was one of those times where I was like, this was written just to annoy me. I'll just...
That's entirely possible because I don't see what other purpose it would serve.
So she just fire. You know what, kids? If you're working in WWE, you can say no. Just try sometime. When they go, hey, we want you to just scream as loud as you can for a whole segment. Just say, you know, my voice has been really bothering me lately. Can I just do something else, please? Just don't be a bitch. Hate that woman. And this ain't, boy, I'd love to see Jeff Hardy give her a senton.
No, you just don't want to see her on TV anymore.
I hope I never see her again as long as I live on this earth, which is going to be a long time by my current plans. Then we had more bullshit with Coach. They did a segment that was about 8 hours long.
It is the longest wacky lucha skit ever.
It was. They did a deal where he was surrounded like it was a Western, and they played...
complete with Good, the Bad, and the Ugly ripoff music.
A tumbleweed rolled by... Seriously, a tumbleweed.
Yes, there was a tumbleweed backstage in the arena.
This is not a joke for those of you that didn't see the show. A tumbleweed rolled by the foot of the Coach. And then they were in the girls' dressing room. Kelly was inexplicably there. Hunter hit on her, and she had the eyes like, yeah, I'd fuck you. You got a lot of money. But it didn't happen in there, sister. So then they kept going, and he ended up in a room with the WWE Fat Rider who does the stripper gimmick. Then he went into another room and fell down, and then DX threw him in a trash can, and off he went. And there were funny moments, but overall it was like, what's happened to this business?
This was a show-long angle done in one segment. It went forever. It was
the good, the bad, and the ugly of WWE. Coincidentally.
It really was. It was just...
What a coincidence that is.
Yeah.
Perhaps you can go on since you're still talking.
That was very bad on my part. I'll fully acknowledge that was my fault. You've made me excruciatingly happy.
That's certainly not what I wanted right there.
What are you looking for?
Do you have any good shoulder stories that we can tell before we finish
We
up
have
today?
so few drops I have
any
to repeat
memories
them.
of shoulders?
You just like this one.
That faggot shoulders Torelli?
Yeah.
What happened next on Raw?
Oh, so you're just done.
I am done, actually. I have nothing else to say.
Failure.
What happened next on Raw, Brian?
I just wanted I don't want that to soak in. That you are, in fact, a failure.
That's great.
DX met with the Spirit Squad, said they were in charge. More inside jokes. John Laurinaitis alerted them, they said, that Spirit Squad was in violation of the dress code.
This was complete with 2 imitations of John Laurinaitis, who approximately 8 people at home would know what he sounded like.
Yeah.
But they did it anyway, because, damn it, they wanted to make it funny.
Funny.
Ha-ha!
Umaga beat Gene Snitsky, who I'd forgotten completely was employed. It was horrible.
Next week on the family reunion of Raw, it's Umaga versus Kane. Loser leaves Raw, kids.
Didn't even do another new angle.
No, this match was the whole build for it.
They hate each other as much as most people hate each other, and just all of a sudden these guys, loser leaves Raw.
Sure.
I presume someone's going to SmackDown. There are rumors Kane's leaving. I'll update tomorrow if that's what's going to happen. But
I strongly suspect this will not be the match where Umaga gets his losing streak broken.
It will not be.
Yeah.
So then we add Orton and Carlito. Carlito is so I say it every week.
He's getting worse. He
is so bad. The funniest line, I don't know if Ross did it on purpose or not. Have you been reading Ross's blog?
No.
It's awesome. It is so awesome. He just buries everybody. He's just completely honest about it, and just let me for those of you that don't get the newsletter, you goddamn freeloaders. I'm gonna read some pardon my voice, by the way, my very professional coughing into the mic right here. I'm gonna read some stuff from JR's blog. He detests matches which end abruptly and without a clear-cut winner or loser. This was in reference to, I believe, Johnny Nitro's match last week or something like that. He's begging to see women's title tournament brackets. Regarding the tag titles, he says, and I quote, "Did you know that the Spirit Squad are the world tag team champions?" And then parentheses, he goes, "It's only a joke. Or is it?" He pulled the Mike Tenay Don West. I still don't know who won or lost the gauntlet match that DX competed in on Raw. He said, regarding Chris Masters, Masters may be too one-dimensional offensively as it relates to his master lock and the use thereof. Masters might benefit from being in a tag team with a veteran wrestler, and I'm not referring to Orton.
Wow.
Just a few of the awesome zingers in Jim Ross's Ross Report on his jrsbarbecue.com website. Fine entertainment. And if WWE tries to take that goddamn thing down, I'll cry. I will cry on the air. I am telling you right now. Where was I? How did I get into that? Oh, Carlito sucking. He sucks.
He sucks bad.
And Ross, I don't know if this was a joke or not, but his exact quote was, "It's obvious Carlito is the quicker of the two."
Yeah, he's...
It's like, are you blind, or were you saying that perhaps for me? What exactly was this comment here? But
I believe that is Carney for he is slower than Randy Orton.
God, he was horrible. He's just so bad. And Orton pinned him using the tights in a match which also has been going on forever and may end immediately.
Yeah, this is unlike Cena versus Edge in that we don't ever need to see it again.
We need a participants leave WWE match between these two next week. Mostly Carlito. Orton bores me, but at least he has an upside I do not see in Carlito.
No, none.
More DX Spirit Squad stuff. Hunter flat out said, "These guys are so gay."
That was awesome.
They ain't lasting much longer. Sergeant Slaughter beat Nikki.
Yes, Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
No reason. He just wrestled this week.
DX appeared on the big screen with panties for Nikki,
well,
and this distracted him.
The joke was the dress code for the Spirit Squad was female cheerleading costumes. Skirts and...
So what did the panties have to do with anything?
I don't know.
I thought you were explaining it to me.
No, well, you forgot to mention to the people at home that what the payoff for the Spirit Squad joke earlier was.
I see.
Or the dress code joke.
That was the first mistake I've ever made on this show.
I know.
I apologize.
I won't rub
to
it in.
everybody. And it wasn't really a mistake because I was about to get into that with the whole panties deal.
Well, go ahead then.
They had to wear cheerleader outfits, everybody.
Oh, okay.
That was the comedy.
Yeah.
Victoria faced Mickie James, women's title tournament match. Still no brackets. Mickie is trimmed down considerably. She's now wearing booty shorts, and she is looking fine. She is back to looking very fine again. For a while, she looked like... I'm not going to say. Dana White would have said it, though.
Wow. That bad.
Female Rikishi.
Ooh, you just said it.
Not quite that large, but she was starting to develop a caboose. She looks much better now.
This match still sucked.
Beautiful woman. And she was going for Hurricane Rana and landed on her head, face, and neck.
That looked like it sucked bad.
It sucked bad because she cried the rest of the match.
Yeah.
She was hurting bad, and she was holding her neck and her face. I'm going to hopefully find out if she broke her neck. I presume we would have heard by now, but that was not good.
No.
And no one gave a shit.
That was the worst part.
Yeah.
This was bad TV.
Nobody gave a rat's ass. Then we had more DX crap. Actually, this was great.
This was great, if this is what I'm thinking of.
They were with Bischoff and Chris Masters. Yeah. Bischoff somehow aged 10 years since last week. I don't know how that's possible, but he looked old. He told them that they were NWO ripoffs when they asked if they were mentioned in the book. Sean was appalled.
His exact reaction was to point at Bischoff and say, "Blasphemy!"
Yes.
Which I loved. I love Shawn Michaels the dork.
So Eric left, and they asked Chris Masters if he was going to write a book. Chris Masters, deadpan, goes, "Yeah, I've been thinking about it." That was actually not the funniest thing, but it was pretty goddamn funny. Then Hunter goes, "What are you going to call it? How to lose 50 pounds in 4 weeks?" And I thought, these people have balls.
Oh, yeah.
These people have big nuts.
And all Chris Masters could do was
leave,
shake his head, look at the ground, and sulk away.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it sucks to be him.
He's done for as
This
well.
may be the first public firing since Jarrett on the that episode of Nitro.
He's fucked. And then we already mentioned the Cena Edge cage match, but the finish was fantastic. They had a ref bump. Melina was ejected, by the way. And I should note that after the ref bump, she didn't come back. It's a
She was ejected from space.
Hell of a manager there. But ref took a bump. Out came Cade and Murdoch. And they were beating up on John Cena. And I will admit that perhaps I'm not paying the best attention, but why were they trying to help Edge win?
Was it last week?
Do we need the UFC girls here to answer this trivia question?
They might. I remember a segment where they were holding Cena so Edge could beat him up, and it was never said why. And then they did a 6-man. So that's the whole connection right there.
We'll just pretend there's a connection because the finish was so great. But so they were out there, and then DX came out to make the save, and everybody was going nuts. They knew DX. They at least knew DX was feuding with Cade and Murdoch. That was good. They chanted for DX. They came out. The finish was Shawn super kicking Murdoch, who bonked into the cage door, which slammed shut on Edge's head, and then John Cena got the pin with the FU. And huge thumbs up. Very good main event to finish off a pretty good Raw. I was fine with it. It's a lot of stupidity, but I can't fault a show with a main event this good. So.
The main event was awesome. I have to say, I guess the actual finishing, the specific last sequence was cool, but God, I was annoyed when Cade and Murdoch came out, and they started fighting in the middle of the cage, and I thought, the fuck is the point of the cage there for? And at the end, Cena was celebrating. I knew JR agreed with me, because he said, "Thank God DX was here to fight off the outside interference." As to say, if only we had like a fence or something to keep guys out.
JR has been great lately.
Yes, he
was. It's impossible to deny.
No, he has been. And once again, they've killed off the entire point of the steel cage match.
Yes.
Those fuckers.
Ross and Lawler, Cole and JBL, Styles and Taz were all there. And oh God, I'm getting exhausted.
just reading off the list of announcers wore you out.
Thankfully, the majority of this show, they weren't all talking at the same time. But there were a few moments, and we'll get into the best one later on. But Cena came out, and it's one of those long segments where he said he was the man. Then Booker came out and said, "No, I'm the man." Then the Big Show came out and said, "No, I'm the man, and I'm a giant." They dropped Andre the Giant's name, so clearly it's Hogan and Big Show at WrestleMania, the 20th anniversary of WrestleMania 3. And they were bitching about this, that, and the other thing, and it turned into them bitching about movies. Cena's like, actually, Cena didn't even say this. Someone else had to mention it. You're in a movie, big deal. Booker or Big Show's like, I was in Waterboy. Waterboy.
He was Captain Insano in Waterboy.
42 seconds, Booker said. And then he goes, "Why don't you all go buy a DVD and check out my bonus scenes in Ready to Rumble, and everyone laughed at him. And so finally, in the end, Cena just attacked Big Show. It was like
It was.
It was just he got bored like the rest of us and attacked Big Show, and they had a brawl, and everybody broke it up. And I mean, you on the Big A show, you had the WWE champion, the world champion, and the ECW champion all in the ring together, and it was useless. That's saying something.
Useless is a little strong. This could have been worlds better. It was basically the comedy bit they would do at the end of a house show, except they opened their season premiere with it.
I don't even think that, because I've seen the comedy at the end of the house shows, and it's usually funny and it's good. This was just...
This was not funny.
This was three guys being boring, and they're all your champions.
Yeah, that's bad.
In no way... I don't give a fuck if you ate 10 cakes today. Nobody could have found this exciting.
I did not, in fact, eat 10 cakes today. In fact, never mind. But
I wish I did.
I know you did. It's okay, Brian. Somebody will eat 10 cakes again.
First match. UFC's Saturday. I'm going to eat 2 pizzas. I've already decided.
First match.
Umaga faced Kane. Loser leaves Raw. It was like 3 minutes long. There's your big loser leaves Raw match, kids. They didn't even shoot an angle for it last week. They're just like, well, these guys don't like each other, so we're going to have a match and the loser leaves. And then they had a match and it was 3 minutes long, and Kane lost. And because of the way they designed and because of everything else, it was like, when it was over, there were few people chanting for Kane, and there were people going like this. But nobody fucking believed he was going.
No, no, they believed he's going to another show they'll watch next week.
Sure.
So they don't... It was not a goodbye to Kane. It was a different night for Kane.
It was like, see ya.
They knew.
You were okay on Raw. We didn't really care, but
you will also be okay on SmackDown and or ECW. See you in a month.
So anyway, that was the opener.
I will say, it was short. The step meant nothing. It didn't attract one viewer. It didn't move anyone emotionally. It didn't hook anybody. But this match, if it had been longer, it probably would have been worse. I sat there the whole time thinking, this is good. This is really good. And now it's over. It didn't have a chance to get bad.
Okay, I will say this. It was not a bad match.
No.
It wasn't I don't know if I'd call it a good match. For Umaga and Kane, it was fine, and the people were into it, and I guess it was a good 3-minute Kane-Umaga match. I guess I could say that. But
I was expecting a complete disaster.
It's just one of those shows where you got 3 hours and you have a bunch of 3-minute matches.
Well, there's that too, but...
Something is wrong here. And this was far from the only one. So, I specifically asked somebody 2 weeks ago, after DX beat the Highlanders in 30 seconds, if they were done. And the answer was, nope. And now I still don't understand what the hell's going on then, because Kane destroyed them before leaving Raw. It was like he had to bury them on the way out.
Sure. I don't know.
Shouldn't the Highlanders have attacked the guy on the way out?
And
not even the Highlanders. Shouldn't... I don't know. Highlanders look like dorks again. So.
Well, they've always said they're the new Bushwhackers, and they're the new Bushwhackers. They're a comedy act, which it's not lucha, so that's bad.
DX did a comedy deal in front of a podium talking about how they apologized for devastating or someone told them they had to apologize for everything they did last week, presumably Vince. So Sean's like, we apologize for destroying the tag division. Hunter goes, seriously, there wasn't much of a division. So Sean was like, all right, we apologize for making the Spirit Squad look like girls. Hunter's like, well, they were gay anyway. So they pretty much gave up on apologies at that point. And
wow.
Then they finished up plugging their merchandise. It was...
It was Sean and Hunter being Sean and Hunter.
The crowd cheers, but, I mean, this is killing DX. This is like the Angle stuff, where Angle used to be funny, and everybody would laugh. They laughed at the when him and Austin did... Same with Austin. Hats. The cowboy hat and the banjo, that was so fucking funny. I'll laugh about that till the day I die.
It was funny.
But Jesus Christ, that killed business. And DX hasn't been drawing shit for months now, and it seems to be getting worse, and it's because of shit like this. Ha, ha, ha. Ha 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 does not sell.
No, not often.
That depresses me, actually, because that's the whole point of Figure 4.
It's a
goofy comedy.
Yeah, you're fucked.
I finally figured out after 11 years. Big Show faced Jeff Hardy and destroyed the IC champion. And at first I thought, well, at least the IC champion lost to the world champion, and Jeff worked hard. Show did kick out of his finish and then beat him clean. Kind of a burial of the IC belt. And as Show was walking out, I was like, okay, I'm fine with it. It doesn't really matter that much. But then Johnny Nitro ran in to attack Jeff Hardy, and so Big Show came back and killed Johnny Nitro. And then, for some reason, that hit me like, oh, okay, so you just had to have the guy kill the division for no good reason. I don't know what it was, but something about destroying Johnny Nitro and Jeff Hardy sort of, I don't know, that struck me as this was really dumb.
I saw it actually totally different in that. When was the last time Raw was made to look bad for the benefit of one of the other two shows?
Well,
maybe I'm looking at...
You're looking at it. I know what you're trying to say, but the idea is you don't make any of your fucking brands look bad.
Yeah, well, they failed.
I know we're used to seeing SmackDown look bad, so everyone's like, oh, man, maybe we'll see Raw look bad this week. How about you don't have any of them look bad? I mean, the idea is every brand should be strong in some way.
I get the point, and I'm not saying it's good that you buried the Intercontinental Division, but it was already... Jeff Hardy as Intercontinental Champion was not selling tickets. So, in theory...
No, but there were a million other guys not selling tickets he could have destroyed.
All right.
The idea was to get Big Show over as a killer.
Yes.
He could have killed Carlito.
Okay.
In 30... And I would have been way more than fine with that.
That's true. Okay, you're right.
They plugged Marine for about the 84th time. DX came out with a present for Vince, and actually it was a they were in wherever the fuck they were at, Columbia, South Carolina, the home of the Gamecocks. So Hunter told about 9 minutes of cock jokes.
This went on for a long time.
It was like it was one of those deals where they found the fans who were laughing and zoomed in on them, but this just went on forever. It was like Brent Kremen. All right, I'm going to say
actually
cock.
It was, I'm
going to say cock, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it for 9 more minutes until it's totally not funny anymore. And, yeah.
When the last person finally stops laughing, then I'll say suck it.
Yeah, which they did. So they had a match with Caden Murdoch in a street fight. They have given up on Caden Murdoch.
That's clear.
DX beat him clean. There was actually an idea of having them do a program. That's out the window.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there going, okay, great. Now they really have killed the whole tag division. What the fuck was the point of this?
I don't know.
I found out later. It made sense later. I shouldn't say it made sense.
I was going to say.
They got opponents later.
There you go.
Main event opponents. Which actually brings me, I'm going to just jump forward to that because I got a rant about it.
All right.
Edge came out for his stupid interview segment. And I got to say this about Edge. I didn't really realize it until I watched the Pillman DVD, and I like Edge. I'm a fan of Edge. I'm a big fan of Edge. I will say that. But what a poor Pillman ripoff he is.
He is definitely a...
It really...
He's a leashed cannon.
I never thought about it before, but I was watching the Pillman DVD, and as it went on, it's like, okay, here's a guy with curly blonde hair, dresses jeans in a T-shirt, a punk T-shirt. He's got the leather jacket on. And he's crazy. And this is like they're trying to recreate Brian Pillman with Edge. And Edge ain't no Brian Pillman.
He's such a poor Brian Pillman. I hadn't thought about it until right now. But
I mean, there's some guys where you watch back the DVD and you're like, okay, he was great for his time. But this man would not work in 2006. Like, if you watched the Best of Undertaker in 1991, he was awesome in 1991. That Undertaker would not work today.
No.
And, I could name 100 guys like that. You watch that Pillman DVD, and you're like, Jesus Christ, this guy would be like
He'd
the
be
biggest...
better.
He'd be the biggest star on Raw in 2006. And Edge, oh, that poor guy. I should not have watched that DVD. Now, every time I see Edge, I'm like...
You ain't Brian.
You ain't Brian. I don't know what to tell you there, buddy. But anyway, he came out for his little segment and called out Orton. They had a little argument back and forth. Edge said he sucked, this, that, and the other thing. He said it all stems back to when Hunter and Big Dave turned on you 2 years ago. And he said, last week I got screwed by DX, so why don't the two of us team up to take out DX? So there's your big feud for the next several months, which is DX versus Edge and Orton. It's just fine. It's a bunch of main eventers having a feud, and it'll be a bunch of good matches. But when I watched it, the only thing I thought was, would it have been that hard to put the belts on DX?
Well, let's see. They beat the Spirit Squad clean. Haven't lost since then. They'd still be champs now. They could spray DX on them and be all edgy. The belts would be over. DX would be over. What would be the problem?
There was a day where the belts, you could put a belt on a man, like you could put the world championship on a man and you'd make him. There were rare exceptions. If you put it on
Ronnie Garvin?
Ronnie Garvin off Ric Flair, it ain't going to work. But many guys, you could put a belt on them and it would make them. And in 2006, it's the people that make the belts.
Yeah.
And the tag belts are completely dead. And if they would have put them on DX and DX feuded with Edge and Orton over the tag titles, all of a sudden those belts immediately would mean something.
Oh, I totally agree.
And I don't know if they're afraid that the belts are so devalued that if they put them on DX, it will actually hurt DX.
I'm certain that's what at least one of them was thinking.
I very much think that that's the reason. But I would have done it. I'd have put the goddamn belts on them and tried to make the belts.
Yeah, well,
why the hell not? So anyway.
Yeah, you're right. It's kind of water under the bridge, and that was done 2 months ago. Whenever it was, they had the big pay-per-view match with the Spirit Squad, and they just kept going, pushed higher and higher, and the belts got buried deeper and deeper, and now you have the main event tag teams, while the championship tag teams are the Comedy Act and the undercard.
Shelton came out and cut a promo. He's from the area. He challenged anybody to a match. Chris Benoit accepted. The one thing I got watching this is they have just beaten all the confidence out of Shelton Benjamin. I mean, they did this to Psychosis in WCW. He used to be so great, and then he ended up just a goof because they just made him think he was nothing. And they've done the same thing with Shelton. And it's a catch-22. They expect him to be something, and they have treated him like such a fucking goof that he thinks he's a fucking goof. And you can just tell watching him and listening to him, he feels he's a loser, and it totally comes across on TV.
Oh, well, he cut a promo, which probably because he was not confident, he was mumbling and speaking too fast, and I realized there's a pot kettle black thing with what I just said, but I'll just move on.
Well, he's Shelton Benjamin, and you're fucking Vince Verhey.
I'm fucking Vinny V. But my point is, he glossed over the fact, he mentioned in passing that this is my hometown, but I didn't want to say that because every time I come here I get embarrassed. And then he kept moving on real quick. It's like, well, there you go.
Yeah, Benoit beat him quickly with the crossface, and that was that.
Fine, but too short to be worth anything.
I love Chris Benoit. How could anyone not be a gigantic fan of Chris Benoit? I just can't even imagine it being possible.
All 6 announcers were talking about how great he was. All the fans, and you expect the wrestling fans to like him, but I saw like 6-year-old kids in John Cena t-shirts who were going jumping up and down and screaming when Benoit came out.
Yeah.
Everyone loves him.
So then we had Heyman and Teddy bickering backstage, and Paul walked in. This was throughout the show. All the general managers were bickering about who was the best champion, and nobody had a good argument. It was just like Paul would go, no, it's the ECW champion, and Teddy would go, no, it's King Booker. It was just so boring. And then they did a skit with Super Crazy coming in, and they asked him, and each general manager asked him a question, and he said C. And then finally at the end, he cut a promo in very broken English. I mean, this was Great Khali level English.
Oh, please, it's better than that.
I'm not sure. That's what I got out of what Super Crazy was saying. But it was translated as he thought all the brands were great. And then Teddy Long was flabbergasted that he could speak English. Comedy.
This was lame.
Comedy.
I assure you that you're the only one, though, who cannot understand him.
I understood him.
Okay.
For fuck's sake.
That I still don't understand.
I like this one.
That's a new one, isn't it?
Somehow that's translated to thanks for the tea. I don't know how the person got that.
I have no idea.
This is.
He seems to be missing several syllables.
I'm your god. I do not think so, but
the best one is just where he ends with Baroom. You've made me excruciatingly happy.
Sorry, I just saw that and had to click it. I didn't know what the hell it was.
Seemed fitting, though.
No.
What's it like, roaming Earth, the lowest form of Homo sapien there is?
I love Scott Steiner.
What the hell ever happened to him?
He, contract problems.
That sucks.
Yeah. Ray and Lashley and Big Dave faced Fit and William Regal's penis and one other guy who Chavo Guerrero.
Yes.
Write that down.
Yeah, that's important.
They they hid Big Dave as they always do, and everybody worked over Ray, and Batista finally made a big comeback with clotheslines and horrible punches. And then Ray hit Chavo with a 619 and gave him the frog splash and pinned him. He has now beaten him twice in a row. So I presume Chavo runs him over with a Mack truck tomorrow and puts him out of action for 6 months and gets his heat back.
Yeah, well, what a failure that will be after losing everything and then expect him to be the big evil guy, but whatever. The newsworthy thing here was, at the middle point of this match, Bobby Lashley disappeared. They got the heat on Ray. Ray made the hot tag to Dave. And then those two guys pretty much took care of it from there. I think Lashley hit one spear, but after the guy last night looking like he might be the guy, tonight he was almost absent.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with Lashley, but
I would almost have to assume that something happened last night and he got hurt because he was nowhere to be seen.
I think we would have heard about that by now, but I guess we'll find out.
I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because otherwise this was dumb.
Lillian called out Moolah and May, who are both 83 years old. Mae Young, who was just the toughest old bird there ever was, now needs a walker to get around, which made me sad. They did the wave, and that was the end. And I initially was like, that's it? And then I thought, okay, thank God that's it. Because usually their segments are significantly more terrifying.
I suspect that will be it for approximately 24 hours.
So all the girls, 24 hours.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
They're not that stupid. They can't. Another Marine commercial aired. I already talked about that one. Girls came out. It was Tori versus Melina in a Diva Lumberjack match. You know what's funny on the show is they had people from all three brands. And throughout the show, I kept thinking, fuck, what brand is this person supposed to be on? It was Tori versus Melina in a women's title tournament match. And I was like, I swear to Christ, Tori's a SmackDown.
I was thinking the same thing.
And it turns out she's on Raw. And it was the same thing when Orton came out. And this should tell you what Orton's done on Raw lately. Orton fucking comes out, and they're talking about teaming with Edge. And I was just thinking, is SmackDown going to fucking lose Orton now? And then after a while, I was like, wait a second, he's on Raw. Never mind. Throughout the show, it was like that. I don't know what that means, but I don't think it's good.
It means there's a lot of stuff going on in 3 hours.
None of these girls had any idea what was going on. Melina got the pin with a roll-up using the tights. A lot of bickering between the announcers during this match, and it grew later. We had a Shamrock Tito 3 commercial, which I'm sure cost a pretty penny. Booker versus RVD, even more bitching by the announcers. And the highlight here, Taz and JBL were bitching back and forth. JBL's like, it's better to be a has-been than it ever was. Taz is like, the only reason you're in the booth is because I walked away. And JBL's like, you're a midget. I hear you do hand and knee combat and blah, blah, blah. And Taz is like, can you try and get someone else over besides yourself? So they're here bitching and bitching and bitching. And also JBL threw in a great barb at Michael Cole, which I'm not even going to bother recapping it. I couldn't do it. But just suffice to say, he made Michael Cole look like a fucking idiot, which was great. So anyway, they're bitching back and forth, and then all of a sudden Taz is like, yeah, well, I got to agree with you, JBL. Booker T is a great champion. Or no, JBL started. He was like, Taz, I got to agree with you. Rob Van Dam is a great athlete.
Human highlight reel, he said.
And Taz was like, and Booker T is a great SmackDown champion. Basically, somebody got in the headphones and goes, will you fucking guys pay attention to the man? In fact, it may have been Ross, because Ross, you couldn't hear him during this. And he may have called the audible himself, because I believe he was the one, the last time all the announcers were bitching, that was trying to stay on target.
Yeah.
And he disappeared for a while here, and suddenly everybody was on the right page. So
There were, in fact, no Raw guys in the match. So Lawler and Ross had nothing to say. They were silent the whole time, so it's quite possible he just took off the headset, walked over, and slapped everyone. So pay attention.
Ross
Do your
has
damn job.
been so great the last about 4 or 5 weeks now. There was some great stuff on this show.
He is great because
he's to the point now where he doesn't care anymore.
He knows he don't need it.
But it's
he wants it to be good. He wants to do good. He wants to do a good job on good shows.
Here's the only way I can. It was like this when I gave up on wrestling. When I stopped really caring about it. In some ways, I got better.
Oh,
because I still went in there, and I still always wanted to try and have the best match on the show, which in the indie scene in this area,
cake
isn't really saying a whole lot. Particularly if Vince here was on the show, but
Indeed.
I always went out there with that intent, and I never half-assed or anything like that. But I didn't, because I didn't care. If something went horribly wrong, and this was after the hair match, it didn't devastate me or anything like that. And I think it's the same thing with Ross, where he'll do the best job he can, but he doesn't give a fuck anymore. And I think he's better as a result.
No, I know I'm going to set myself up for everything in the world here, but the truth is, I got much better after I stopped giving a fuck. I've talked to many other people who feel the exact same way.
That you got better?
Well, no, they got better. Not many people think I got better.
No one's ever said such a thing.
Diet. No, but no, I've talked.
You did, because you were ungodly horrible before, and you were just horrible after.
I improved. I improved from being the worst wrestler ever to the worst wrestler in any given ring at a time. But yeah, I've talked to lots of guys who say the day they turned the corner and started really getting better was the day they stopped caring.
It's a strange thing to say, but sort of how it works.
It's something how you need to be able to relax a little bit to be any good.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Crime Time debuts next week. This was actually a hilarious skit because they were working out with a white girl as a barbell. Shad was military pressing her, and I believe JTG, they're calling the other dude, he was using her legs like an elliptical machine.
Yes.
That killed me there.
That was genius.
That was awesome. So they debut next week, like I said. They will be gigantic baby faces if dark matches are any indication. Mitch cut a promo saying he sucked, but he would not suck soon because he was going to beat Ric Flair.
Sometimes you will say that someone's new gimmick is that they sucked, or he cut a promo and said that he sucked. You correct yourself and say, okay, I made that up. Here's what he really said. Mitch of the Spirit Squad came on national live TV and said, I suck, and repeated it several times. Yeah. We're not exaggerating.
No.
This is what he said.
Yeah. So the GMs...
These guys are doomed.
The GMs were still bitching backstage, and in walked Vince. And they're all standing there, and he goes, on November 5th at Cyber Sunday, it'll be John Cena versus Big Show versus Booker T to determine who is the champion of champions. And all the GMs just sort of stood there looking confused. And they went to commercial, and they came back, and Jim Ross was like, this is the first time ever in history the WWE, Raw, SmackDown, and ECW champions will be battling to determine who is the biggest champion of all. And I was like, you should not have said that, because that made that previous segment seem utterly, completely retarded.
What, the opening segment? Or?
No, just the fact that, he pointed out what a gigantic historic match this was, and how was it set up. 3 GMs were being dorks, and so Vince signed all their champions to a match in a backstage segment that went 42 seconds.
Maybe I thought at the time it was because I knew the match was happening, but they made this announcement, I didn't really care, and now I'm thinking back on it. Remember when they announced they'd be merging well, they called it the World Championship, but it was the WCW Championship and the WWE Championship, and they do the 4-man tournament with Rock and Austin and Jericho and Angle. That was bigger than this.
Yeah, just think about it. If, if during the Tito Ken show tomorrow night, it's a 2-hour show, and like an hour and 42 minutes in, Dana White walked into the room, and there's Pride representatives, and
it would be
actually that's
Mike Goldberg and Mauro Ranallo.
Sure.
Arguing about who was the best champion.
And Dana White just coming in and going, yeah, well, you know what? At the pay-per-view in 3 weeks, it's going to be, I'll just throw out Fedor versus Chuck Liddell. The 2 biggest champions are going to go head-to-head. And then they just cut away. Just, if that's such a big match, that's your big angle, The three announcers were having an argument over who was best.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous. So Flair faced Mitch of the Spirit Squad, and Mitch had the Spirit Squad, so Flair came out with DiBiase, IRS, Roddy Piper, and Arn Anderson. A bunch of legends. And Flair won in 1 minute with the figure four leg lock, which I believe is the third time in the 21st century that he has tapped out a man with that hold. And then afterwards, all the legends hugged Ric Flair, and I thought, Flair, who just wrestled, is the oldest man in the ring by almost 10 years.
Among all these retired, long retired, really, pro wrestlers, Ric Flair is the oldest one by a long margin. Still the only one working. Still the only one I really honestly want to see wrestle every week.
Lyndon Walker's going to be very happy with you for saying that.
I know.
So anyway, then we had the Edge Orton thing, which we talked about.
I had one thing about that last segment. It gets 5 stars for me because I got to hear the Four Horsemen theme song.
Yeah,
that's
did.
Great music.
So the main event was Cena and Undertaker, which, Jesus. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna praise it. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I've been bitching for weeks and weeks and weeks about having to sit through a 14-minute match and having it end in a stupid DQ. At least this ended in a stupid DQ, and it was only about 4 minutes long.
That's true.
Undertaker did just destroy the poor fucker.
Oh my! Well, yeah. This was like trickle down burial.
Yeah.
Because Undertaker destroyed Cena in that he beat him forever, gave him a little comeback, and then chokeslam was going to pin him when Kennedy ran out. So now Undertaker has buried Cena. Undertaker proceeded to also bury Kennedy by kicking his ass all the way to the back, but that doesn't go anywhere, so we'll leave that alone. So Undertaker has now buried Cena. Big Show and Booker T come out. They get in a fight, and Cena, who has been buried by Undertaker, now has to bury both of them.
Yes.
So he left them laying.
Yes.
And it was just such a horrible end of the show.
This was such a horribly booked segment.
All three champions made to look bad, and King Kennedy to get Undertaker over, who will
be feuding with Ken Kennedy. He isn't even involved in the three men fighting for the 3 world championships.
No, he's involved in an upper mid-card feud on SmackDown.
So anyway.
This was retarded.
It was utterly ridiculous. By the way, I predict Big Show wins the big match at the pay-per-view. I just have this funny feeling, but... or hopefully like a triple DQ so everyone can be pissed off.
Sure. I don't think... It's not a unification match or anything, so anyone can win.
Yeah, no belts on the line, so... That was a Raw show, kids. The best part of the show was actually afterwards.
JR was screaming about what.
Hold on, I'm going to recreate this.
Go ahead.
Lawler is screaming, "What a match! What a night!" Blah blah blah. And then Raw starts yelling and screaming and thanking us for watching Raw all these years. Blah blah blah. He's totally losing his voice. The screen starts fading to black, and all of a sudden you hear
almost that exact same noise.
As if somebody took their headsets, removed them, violently threw them, and was just finished. And it may have been Ross ever having to listen to these cocksuckers bitching for 2 straight hours about how they all sucked, or 3 straight hours. So
I assumed it was JR just because he was in the middle of screaming and it was just done.
Yeah.
This show... Ross was good tonight for about 2 hours and 57 minutes.
And then he lost it all in the last 3 minutes.
Everything. His voice was gone. Still trying. God bless him. He was still doing his best, but his best was not what it was. Yeah. So that was Raw.
I give it a thumbs in the middle. Maybe a little bit, thumbs in the middle. I'll give it a thumbs in the middle.
Yeah, I guess. Like you say, nothing was horrible except the one thing that was short, and nothing was great either. So, yeah.
Raw was I thought it was a good show, except the main event just... Boy, that killed the momentum.
Well, the opening segment and the main event were bad. Everything in the middle was good.
The opening segment, you thought it was bad?
The DX deal?
Well, I don't know about the whole thing, but I know that Orton and Edge's DX impersonation was one of the great ones of all time. It was so awesome. It was so great.
Well, let's start with that.
Well, that's what I was doing.
Okay.
There, but thanks.
What was so great about it, Brian?
Well, let's see. Edge came out with the nose... and the hair, and the fake lats.
The fake lats was awesome.
And did the little speech, and did a fine job. Orton came out doing the Shawn Michaels impersonation, more revved up than Randy Orton may have ever been in his whole entire career, and he did a goddamn great impersonation. They were both so awesome.
Edge especially because he straightened his hair and he actually looked like Hunter.
Yeah, he really did.
It's pretty remarkable, really.
Orton had the wig on and the chaps and was doing all the spinning and he was setting up for the super kick but didn't do it.
What I did love was on the ramp they did the DX pose and Orton dropped to one knee like Shawn Michaels and began to flex and then fell to the ground screaming and clutching his back.
It was so awesome that I just knew these two guys were going to be buried. That was my first thought. This is so good that you will be fucked in the end. I'm sorry. So the real DX came out, and then it was boring.
This was lame.
I blame Hunter. Sean is... Well, actually, there was one great moment. They were talking about how gay Orton was, or actually more precisely, how all the gays love Orton. And they showed some pictures, which were in fact real pictures of Randy Orton, I've been told. Him in the shower wearing a towel. 2 of these, actually. And the third shot of him in the shower wearing a towel actually was not Randy Orton. It was Shawn Michaels from Playgirl. At which point, Shawn freaked out. Why'd you show that picture?
His exact words were, "Ah!"
I was young. I was stupid. You told me girls bought that magazine. Whoever told him that lied.
I love Shawn Michaels as a dork.
And
he's been a dork for months now, and he's so great at it.
That's why this was great. Hunter was the boring one.
Hunter was boring. They also... Edge and Orton, as you said, they were both just buried deep beneath the earth here. They were showing these pictures of Orton in a towel. It's not like he looked bad. He just looked a little,
gay.
Yeah.
That was the point.
And he was embarrassed. He should have been like, yeah, so fuck off.
No, they're heels. He should have been embarrassed. I didn't have any problem with this whatsoever. I didn't have any problem with this because if you're saying they looked stupid, well, Shawn Michaels looks stupid every week.
Yeah. I thought it was boring having Hunter to stand there and make the lame dick and gay jokes, and then I thought these 4 men should all be hitting each other. Instead, they're just standing here making dick and gay jokes.
Well, yeah, that's dumb, but I can't be angry because the heels were insulted and embarrassed. It's the whole idea you embarrass the fucking heels. That's the whole point. And we get to the end of the show, then we'll get into some stupidity. Spirit Squad face the debuting Crime Time. I love JTG.
Yeah.
I hate Shad Gaspard. I don't even know. I can't even compare this to like Stevie Ray and Booker T because at least Stevie Ray was funny.
Yes.
Shad Gaspard is just a big, horrible guy that's just there. And JTG has the charisma of about 15 men, which is something badly needed these days in wrestling as a new, fresh face. But
I had never seen him before. We stopped getting OVW after he started being on TV. And, yeah, he's a fireball.
When they first debuted, somebody in Ohio Valley said that JTG is just awesome, but Shad's going to kill this for him. And I watched this and just thought, yep. I called it.
Easily see that happening.
So anyway, they got the win over the Spirit Squad, but who hasn't? So
yeah.
Can't really say they got over huge, but the fans were into them, and they cheered when they won, and that was that.
They did, and they chanted "Let's go Crime Time," which seemed odd to me. It seemed like just chanting "Crime Time" over and over again would have been much easier. But they won, and and by they I mean Shad, were not terribly exposed. So far so good.
Well, yeah, it's so far so good, but I got no faith because I saw this exact same thing last month with the Highlanders. They debuted, they were over, they beat the Spirit Squad, they were dead in that order. So
yeah,
see what happens with old Crime Time here. We had some more Marine bullshit, which I hated more than ever at this point. Coach interviewed Booker and Queen Charmel. He said Vince wanted all 3 champs in attendance for a major announcement later. Crime Time walked in, and they were all wacky. Booker's gimmick is I guess he's a black guy that behaves like a white southern landowner. It's
sure.
A very strange sort of dynamic.
He's behaving like
he's not down with these other brothers.
No, he was not. He didn't approve of them at all. He's behaving like the cartoon version of a royal British king.
Sure, a white one.
Yeah, definitely. Well, how many black British kings do you know?
Well, none. But what the fuck does that matter? I'm turning you down. He did not. He said he didn't speak Ebonics. He said all these Negroes look the same. basically the whole deal, and it was played for comedy, some of which... It's funny because it's King Booker. He's so wacky. Like, it's one of those things where the writing is so bad, but if you get a good enough guy, it'll work. And actually, Regal always pulls this shit off. Regal and Angle and guys like that, and Booker T is doing a good job. He's drawing no money. This is a death gimmick, but goddamn he does it well. So I got to give Booker T credit for that. Anyway, his wallet got stolen, and he was very unhappy. And as mentioned, they had the cops in there, and they were asking... the best part was the cops were asking for a description of the perpetrators. And that's when Booker made the comment about how they all look alike. And I just thought, there are no publicity stills of Crime Time. There's no replay. Is it just me? I realize you're turned down, but you could at least nod. Vince is saying yes. Vince is agreeing with me, as he always does. I'll turn you up when I feel like I need you, Vince, because I know you're not adding anything to that, are you? Did you have anything to say about Crime Time robbing Booker? I didn't think so. So then we had Jeff Hardy and Chris Masters versus... Actually, Jeff Hardy versus Chris Masters, Super Crazy, and Shelton Benjamin for the IC title. I left the room as soon as the bell rang, and within 5 seconds, I just hear Vince screaming in frustration. And I came back literally about 28 seconds into the match, and I was like, what the fuck are you screaming about? And you're like, I'm so bored. Would you like to defend this?
Defend the match? No.
No, defend the fact that you freaked out within 20 seconds of the match beginning.
I hate pointless title four-ways.
Okay, but was this not great by the end?
By the end, it was great.
Yes.
The first minute, I was sitting there wondering, why is there a four-way going on? Why is the champion defending his title against three men? What? This makes no sense. And then they just started hitting each other, and no one cared. And I within 5 seconds, I was like, fuck this. I have better things to do with my life. So I read The Observer.
It turned into a very good match, which, of course, you missed out on. And I give it a big thumbs up. I give Jeff Hardy a big thumbs up. I even give Chris Masters sucked. Super Crazy gets a big thumbs up. Shelton Benjamin was athletic. Good match.
Yeah. There was a Observer house show report over the weekend. Someone said, talking about how unathletic Chris Masters was, and then they saw him, he powerbombed Shelton Benjamin while Shelton was superplexing Super Crazy. And I thought, that's not athletic. Anyone can do that. And they did that spot here, and they reminded me of that. So for those of you who think it's very difficult to powerbomb someone who's performing a superplex, I'm afraid it's really not.
It's phony.
It's fake.
So we had to deal with the cops, and Vince commanded them to go find John Cena because he wanted Cena there when he made his big announcement with all the champs. Nitro and Melina came out for the longest segment in history. They introduced their special guest for the evening, Kevin Federline.
Woo!
Crowd booed like crazy.
Oh, God.
Johnny Nitro said, K-Fed is our homie. Lawler said he was in awe of the man.
Listen.
You know, actually, I'm going to say one thing. When Lawler said that, my first thought was, there are things awe-inspiring about Kevin Federline.
Sure.
Most notably that he has become a celebrity.
Yes.
With that said, goddamn was this guy great.
Yeah.
This was like when the dude from 90210, Luke Perry came out, and I was like, oh, Jesus, Luke Perry's on this fucking show. What's this going to be all about? And he stole the show.
He did. It was the same deal here. I was thinking, my God, Kevin Federline is upstaging Johnny Nitro.
Well, that ain't hard these days, but he buried the fans. He said, the same people that are in here booing me are the same people that are out there buying magazines with my face on it every single week.
I think it was at that point I turned to you and said they should sign this man right now.
He said they were a bunch of L.A. superficial posers, and it was great.
He's a fantastic heel.
He really is.
They were showering him with boos. He was the biggest heel on the show, and he embraced it and loved it and went with it and worked with it, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
I would watch Kevin Federline on Raw every week.
So then out came John Cena, who was actually over like he was a legit movie star in L.A., which flabbergasted me. And everybody got into a big wacky argument. Big Show came down. Booker came down. There was a short brawl, that sort of thing. Vince came down, announced that it was going to be at the Cyber Sunday pay-per-view, all 3 champions in the ring together, and the fans will get to vote who retains the belt, I think is actually how it's working.
Sure.
So that's going to be the whole deal right there. And then afterwards, everybody left.
This is still going on.
Yeah, still
One
going
segment.
on. Cena's like, oh, K-Fed is still here. Why don't you get in the ring? He said this young man was a trendsetter, or so he claimed. So he was going to let him set a trend by saying whose belt he wanted on the line at the pay-per-view. And Kevin said, I want to see you get your ass kicked up and down this ring. At which point, John Cena gave him the FU. And he sold it like a king. All the refs hit the ring. Lawler was freaking out that this was Britney Spears' husband taking this move. And this was thumbs up stuff.
Oh, God, this was awesome.
This was all great.
This was a great segment, really. As long as it was.
I got no problems with it.
No.
Nothing negative to say whatsoever.
No, thumbs up for Cena. Thumbs way up for K-Fed.
Yeah. They were all great.
Yeah.
Thumbs down for Melina. I hope she gets fired. I hate her. So I throw that out there. She didn't even scream tonight. It's just
residual hatred.
It's residual. It's pent up, built up. You know. Carlito beat Rob Conway quickly, then spit an apple on him, and then went away. Waste of my life. Even Ross was like, sure hasn't been doing much since Trish left. And I thought, he hasn't been on his game since a month after he debuted on the main programs, which was like a year and a half ago. Carlito sucks.
He does. He sucks significantly more than Rob Conway. Oh, God. Life ain't fair.
Vince ran an Edge and Lita backstage. They've got an idea for the pay-per-view. It's Edge and Orton versus DX, with the fans getting to choose the referee. They teased that the 3 possibilities would be Jonathan Coachman, Eric Bischoff, or Vince McMahon. Oh, God. I can only imagine. So, after a commercial, TCS called the 2 geeks from Jackass into the ring. They said they were there for 2 things, to kick some ass and whip some butt.
That is, in fact, what they said.
They came off as totally brain damaged.
Oh, they are.
Should surprise nobody.
Well, they were going into it, so. Yeah.
Alejandro came out and said he'd heard these 2 jackasses like to do some crazy things, but he thought it was just an act. They weren't really crazy. They said they'd do anything. Out came Umaga, destroyed them both. But before he did, and I cannot believe they didn't edit this off, Steve-O just climbed up to the top turnbuckle and did a flip, landed on his feet. And I thought, wow. Thought that move was rough till today. When
Steve-O got it on the first try.
This dork tried it on the first try and landed on his feet. That just killed wrestling right there. But Umaga killed both guys. Steve-O was laughing and pointing at his buddy, and so Umaga kicked him as hard as he could. And began just, after he gave him the splash, he was just kicking and slapping him and slamming him, and I guess hoping at just some point he would die.
Yeah.
He was trying to kill.
Oh, he was laying into him. Brian, I know you don't watch Jackass, but here's what they do. They hurt each other and then laugh at it.
Yeah.
So that's all Steve-O was doing. And Steve-O was doing exactly what Steve-O does. So they should not have been surprised with this reaction. But yes, it was the first one was planned because Umaga came back and gave him the big splash.
I don't even think. See, when I saw the laughing, I knew that's what it was.
He was laughing. He was laughing and pointing at his friend.
I don't think that was the main deal. Was he was trying to just not do any selling.
Well, yeah, because after the splash, they didn't show it as much because they're smart. But Umaga hit the splash, and he kind of stomped him and hit some forearms and stood over him. And Steve-O kind of gestured like, "Okay, that's enough. I'm done." So of course Umaga just kept hitting him more.
Sure,
he wouldn't sell. He
yes.
was just being Steve-O.
He needed to sell.
Oh, he should have. It would have been better for him if he had sold. But damn it, he wouldn't be Steve-O if he wouldn't sell. Anyway, I also loved this.
This was.
I don't know if it was good for business. I don't know if it.
Love this nearly as much as
I don't know if it would get Umaga over if it sold any tickets, but I could. Well,
I could watch Steve-O getting destroyed.
I like Jackass, so watching these guys get hurt is fun. So what the hell? I would watch a different wrestler beat the hell out of Steve-O every week forever.
What a sickening man. These are human beings, Vince.
You didn't even see his tattoo. You would love Steve-O if they had showed a close-up with the tattoo
of his own
back.
face.
Of his own face doing this.
I don't
a big
care.
Double thumbs up and a smile.
These are humans, Vince.
Yeah.
Come on now.
These are humans who...
Let's have a little bit of sympathy here.
What? They're not victims.
Sure they are.
That's what they do.
No. They're victims of this system.
Steve-O's a man who makes his living...
I'm done with you.
No.
No,
turn me up. I'm not done, no. No, Steve-O's a man...
Vince.
What?
I'm full of shit. I'm not really having this argument with you. I was joking.
Oh.
They're not victims of the fucking system. Okay. That's why you're turned down. Because your fucking sarcasm detector is broken. Jesus Christ!
Put your pants down, Vince.
I'm about to fuck you. Lillian Garcia had 3 cue cards. She read them. They said, and I quote, "This match is the second chance, all or nothing, bra and panties invitational challenge to advance into the semifinal round of the WWE Women's Championship Tournament to win the currently vacant women's title. The first diva to strip an opponent down to her bra and panties will be the winner."
This absolutely, positively, 100% had to be a rib on TNA.
I'm certain of it.
Oh, it was great. I was laughing so hard.
So they unfortunately they had a match.
That was not... I was not laughing.
I actually didn't even write down the participants. I know Maria and Victoria and Tori and one other girl were in there. Candace. So Maria must be stupid because she came to the ring pretty much just wearing a bra, which put her at a 50% disadvantage. But somehow she won. She stripped Tori, and that was the end. Tori's days are numbered. Now, I've been saying this for decades now. But
I know. I actually was more worried about Victoria going into this, who came out for this wearing what appeared to be a women's bathing suit from about 1850.
Well, it was a bra and panties match. It made sense.
I guess.
She should have came out with a suit of armor if you really wanted it to make sense.
That would have been better. That would have at least been blatant.
It was a ridiculous, unflattering outfit. And then finally we had Hunter and Orton. Boring.
Yeah.
Finish was straight out of Mexico, however, so I cannot fault them. Orton was in the ring, and Edge gave Hunter a foul behind the referee's back. But then, as the referee was distracted, Shawn ran in and gave Orton a foul, allowing Hunter to hit him with a chair and get the pin. It's stupid. I think Ross knew how stupid it was because he was trying very hard to hammer home that the point was that this is why the special ref was so important at Cyber Sunday. Because it would probably be a heel, and thus Hunter and Shawn would be fucked. Of course, even with that stupid storyline, what you're saying is these guys can't win unless they've got a heel referee. And that's a shitty way to get those heels over.
Yeah.
This was horrible. The opening stuff was just dumb. This was horrible.
Yeah. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about how crappy Orton looked tonight.
Well,
he was boring Orton tonight.
This war is just beginning, by the way.
This feud is doing so much less than nothing for me. But yeah, Orton got pinned. JR was making it clear they were outsmarted by DX, so the young rambunctious guys are not good enough to win on their own, and they can't even cheat right.
No, that's you gotta, in Hunter...
It didn't bother me. I realized this. It didn't bother me because I figured this is step one of about an 800 chapter feud.
Yeah, but still, the whole point of the very beginning was it'll take 3 men. It'll take 3 heels to beat these 2 men. Two heels, who I might add are top level heels.
Yeah, supposedly.
And Vince McMahon as referee to finally get DX. That's what's been hammered home at the very beginning. I mean, see, Hunter drives me nuts because I know he's got a brain, but sometimes you'd never know it watching the shit he's involved in. I mean, of all people, a good, like a protege of Ric Flair should know, the whole idea is you make your opponent as diabolical as possible when you're a babyface. Mm-hmm. You want to beat somebody in the end.
Yeah.
Well, when you're doing a fucking program and you make it very obvious at the beginning that you're at a level far above your other 2 geeks, then number one, if you do beat them, you're just beating 2 geeks, and thus you've accomplished nothing. And if those 2 geeks beat you...
What a goof you are.
Jesus Christ, you look like a total idiot.
Yeah.
You would think he would have a clue, but Hunter's an idiot. I'm just going to throw that out there today. What a fucking idiot. Raw. I was talking about Maximo being my favorite wrestler in the entire world. My second favorite wrestler in the entire world is K-Fed.
Woo!
Oh, God, this was awesome.
This was a great show, too.
When K-Fed came out at the beginning of the show, and he had his own music and his own entrance video, and everybody was booing him, and he buried the crowd, I thought, they've got to hire this man somehow.
Dude, he came
I
out...
actually thought of an idea before you go on here.
All right.
They need to fire the following individuals.
I was actually thinking they need to fire whoever is necessary to justify the salary of K-Fed.
Chris Masters.
Sure.
Melina.
Fine.
Those were actually the only two I thought of on
Okay.
this particular show. But they need to fire both of those individuals. Chris Masters, because not only has he lost 40 pounds, but he's lost all of his wrestling ability. And Melina, because she screams, and I hate her.
Right.
So fire those two fuckers, and give that money to K-Fed, and bring him in every week.
If necessary, fire 3 to 4 more people.
Sure.
Hire K-Fed.
They just fired Psychosis. There's some more money for
Whatever.
you.
Give him whatever it takes. Hire K-Fed, sign him on full-time, and have K-Fed be the Bobby Heenan to John Cena's Hulk Hogan. K-Fed is the wacky manager who brings in this never-ending army of evil men to defeat Cena. Cena always beats them in the end.
Yep.
K-Fed takes one big bump, and they just repeat the cycle.
Yes.
K-Fed brings in Umaga. They do this program for 2 months. Cena wins at the pay-per-view. K-Fed says, I will vow revenge. Now I have...
And K-Fed has to take a bump at the end of every
Yeah,
round.
well, just one bump. That's a one bump.
Yes.
And at the end it says, fine, you beat Umaga, but now I have Kane. Repeat. 2 months later, now I have Big Show. You can do this forever. It will always work. It will always be entertaining, and I will always pay to see it.
That's right. This was great.
Oh,
So K-Fed came out and called out King Booker. That was quite the little scene right there.
yeah.
Booker came out and said that K-Fed CD was a treasure.
He called him an artiste.
You are a gifted and talented artiste, he said. He said that he was going to, the fans were going to choose Cena's title at Cyber Sunday to be on the line. He was going to win it. Big Show came out. He said no, he was going to win it. Cena came out and buried everybody, at which point we had a cameo by Ron Simmons, who everybody knows what he said. It's all in the delivery, kids.
There you go.
This was great.
It was. Well, he mentioned that because because Booker liked K-Fed's album, that meant he was losing his status as a black man.
This being John Cena.
Right. At which point, Ron Simmons came out. Cena handed him the mic. Simmons said his line, handed the mic back to John, turned and walked back, and everyone went crazy.
They went crazy.
Just batshit insane.
Oh, yeah, because everybody thought it was funny, and then when he left, it was even more funny.
Yes.
Like, that's all he had
They
to
flew
say.
him into this line, and that made it funnier.
Oh, yes. So that was fantastic, and it ended up with, he buried everybody, and the deal was that K-Fed was going to be the manager of Johnny Nitro later on, and
Thumbs up.
I enjoy this wacky little storyline more than anything else in wrestling these days. I mean, nothing even touches it.
You mean Cena versus K-Fed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more entertained by this.
It's the feud of the year.
I am entertained by this more than Angle and Joe so far.
Fuck yeah.
And I loved that first angle. Last night was just an angle. I am way more into this.
John Cena
For no good reason, mind you.
No, because there's a good reason. It's entertaining.
Well, there is that.
John Cena versus Kevin Federline is the feud of the year, and I am dead serious.
Oh, you're going to get it for that one. Melina faced Mickie James in a women's title tournament match. It was horrible. Low center of gravity.
Low center of gravity and two women who
don't know what they're doing. That's
don't know what they're doing, and it looked like it was one of those. They were both trying way too hard.
This was a giant thumbs down.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy and Carlito faced the ever-shrinking Chris Masters and Shelton Benjamin. This was a mess.
Indeed it was.
It was a horrible mess. I don't even know what to say about it.
Well, they got the heat on Jeff Hardy without ever letting Carlito do anything. So everyone knows he sucks, and they want to hide him on the apron. Then he came in and displayed why he sucks, doing sloppy flips and jumps off the rope and stuff. Master sucks. Shelton's ruined. And then there's Jeff Hardy trying to work with it all.
Carlito's high spots are like a guy that has a trampoline in his backyard and just discovered a ring.
They are, actually.
I'm going to jump on this rope and spring high into the air and do like a tomahawk chop or something wacky.
And then kind of land.
Oh, Jesus. He's fucking so bad. So unbelievably bad. So this sucked. It broke down into a four-way. Everybody was in a mess. I believe the idea was both heels pin both baby faces, but it was such a disaster I got no idea. And I don't care.
Okay, then.
Thumbs down. Todd interviewed Edge and Orton. It was wacky. They tried comedy.
It was not nearly wacky enough.
They called Todd a re-Todd, which even I didn't think was funny.
No.
They said they were rated R, K-O. Ha ha.
There's a lot of really bad writing on the show, looking back.
God, it was horrible. So this is a thumbs down.
So these are heels 2 and 3, and there's a giant gap between them and heel number 1, which is Kevin Federline.
And speaking of, we had K-Fed and Johnny Nitro in a meeting backstage, and this was the absolute opposite of Edge and Orton.
It was.
And really, they weren't even, I can't figure out Johnny Nitro. I mean, I think he knows he's a geek, but he's such a geek.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain what I'm trying to say here. I mean, they give him bad dialogue, and he's such a geek that it works.
I don't think they gave him any dialogue for this.
No, they did. I'm sure of it. But he's such a geek that he spouts off this. I think the thing is there's a believability that he would actually be this big a geek.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that maybe he's a good enough actor that he made it work, but it seemed to me like they just said, talk like a rapper. And he said, okay.
Well, the thing is today, everybody gets everything written out word for word. So this was
there you go.
Straight from the script. But
then he's the man.
The point was, he and K-Fed are an awesome duo.
Yes.
Just a fantastic, wacky duo.
They have great chemistry.
Yes.
Randy Orton and Edge have zero chemistry.
Federline said Cena was whack.
He did, in fact. And I believe, well, if he, I don't know if he said this, but he should have, Johnny Nitro should have said word.
He's such, Kevin Federline is such a perfect heel.
Especially for John Cena.
Yeah.
They you could not find a better foil for John Cena than Kevin Federline. But yes, but he is great. He's small. He's untalented and kind of aware of it. He has a confidence in that he's hated. I mean, apparently, the name of his song is America's Most Hated. He's a heel in real life.
Yeah, and he loves it.
And he's milking it.
Sure. It's just...
Really, the whole thing is so fucking perfect. They get him on every week. They have him plug his lame album. And he was bragging about how his album would beat John Cena's. Ooh. Waiting for the stars there, kid. But yes, and if you think about this, if they actually do this and pull this off and sign this guy and have him on Raw every week for a year, and then at Mania, Britney fucking Spears actually shows up.
I don't know about that.
Oh,
let
me dream. Let me dream for one night.
I wouldn't care. She's fat and just annoying.
Even
now.
better.
No, I don't give a shit. The only thing that worried me when I watched this was, I just worry that it's wrestling, and if they did sign him, they'd fuck it all up. They'd
there's always that.
him. He'd be in every segment, and we'd hate him within about 3 weeks for real and want to see him go away.
Well, there's that. Always that.
The last 2 weeks...
I don't want to think about any negative thoughts right now. I just want to be filled with my love for K-Fed.
Actually, in some strange way, I hope he never comes back.
Because it's so perfect?
Because if he never comes back, I will always look back like, God, remember when Kevin Federline was on Raw feuding with Cena for 2 weeks? That was the best stuff ever. And I'm just afraid if he lingers.
He may overstay his welcome.
Sure, we don't want that. But
I'm not going to think about these things. I'm going to think positively.
All I got to say is these 2 weeks have just been epic.
Yeah.
Just epic and memorable and fantastic. So... Anyway, we had Cena versus Nitro. They had a wacky match. It was totally fine. There was tons of heat. Federline slapped Cena across the face very hard, which was just great. Mm-hmm. He wasn't afraid to slap the fuck out of this guy.
He's very calm.
Sure.
He had no problem just wailing on him.
I'm going to hit you as hard as I can.
In the face.
Yeah. And Cena won clean with the FU and went after young K-Fed. And as he was backing up, he tripped on the ramp, which he actually did a hell of a job doing, all things considered.
Sure.
We've seen many non-wrestlers have to do physical comedy, and it never works. He was fine. And, of course, out came Big Show and Booker, and they beat up Cena as Federline cackled in the background, which made me think he'll be back.
Yes.
He may be there all the way to Cyber Sunday.
I would expect so, actually, at this point.
I mean, the thing comes out October 31st, so he's got another couple weeks, at least one more week, I would think, to make the most of this. But I think we're going to get at least one more week. But the question...
Cross your fingers.
But the question, I guess, is what do you do with that one more week? Because he took the FU on week 1.
Yeah, they didn't know how great he was going to be, so I can't really hold it against them. I'm sure they thought he would do this one thing and never be back again, and they thought, holy shit, this guy's awesome.
I'm going to have to find out what happened, if this was planned to be a long-term thing or if it was just one night and he was so great.
If this is the way they planned it, then they're dumb. But the other key thing to the segment was when it was all said and done, Booker and Show laid out Cena. Then Booker turned on Show, hit him with a bookend, which looked ridiculous, but hit him with it, and then he hit Cena with the scissors kick, and King Booker was standing triumphant. And last week when Cena killed both of them, we talked about how stupid it was. It seems less stupid now because this week it was Booker's turn to look good, and the next week it'll be Show's turn to look good, and everyone will get a chance.
All right.
So,
I just figured they were telling us to vote for Booker's belt so he could lose it.
Maybe that's it too.
Spirit Squad faced Crime Time. They beat them again. I'm not sure how many times you have to beat the tag team champions before the belts are actually on the line. It used to be you beat them in a non-title match and you immediately get a title match. No more. Afterwards, Kenny flipped out and said he basically signed himself to a match with Ric Flair.
Correct.
I'm not sure how he got this power, but it would take place tonight. Not even a 1-week build. Tonight.
No, in about 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah. Umaga killed Eugene, and then afterwards Hacksaw Jim Duggan tried to give a pep talk, and Eugene beat up Jim Duggan. I have no idea what the fuck this was all about.
Nor do I care.
Yeah. Thumbs down. Kenny was in the ring with the rest of the Spirit Squad moments after he did his promo and said he was going to do this alone with no help.
He was standing there with friends with help.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess that was the point. He was a liar or something, I presume. Flair came out, and he once again had legends flanking him. Sergeant Slaughter, Roddy Piper, and Dusty Rhodes. Flair once again the oldest man in the ring with all the other legends. Kenny beat him with the tights using a cradle. Nobody cared. Didn't get Kenny over. Didn't hurt Flair. It was just a nothing match. And actually, for the minute that it lasted, it was great.
Of course it was.
Flair's just he can have a great 1-minute match with anybody.
There you go.
But it was 1 minute, and it was a fuck finish, and so nobody got over. So afterwards, all the Spirit Squad attacked Flair, and the Legends made the save. And Spirit Squad's dead. They've been dead for a while. So I loved this.
Yeah.
I was fine with the Legends beating them up. They're useless anyway.
Sure.
It's not like, oh, Brian, they've killed the belts. Yeah, they did that 4 months ago.
Yeah. No, this is great. This was great stuff.
It's got a big thumbs-up segment just for Dusty doing all the elbows.
Just for Dusty being Dusty. And they're doing the deal at Cyber Sunday where it's Flair and a partner versus the Spirit Squad, and the partners are, you can choose from Sarge, Piper, or Dusty.
Actually, we'll list all the matches here.
All right.
You've got the main event with the vote to which title will be at stake. We've got Umaga versus a mystery man who will be either Benoit, Kane, or Sandman, of whom it will be Kane. Jeff Hardy will be facing either Johnny Nitro, Shelton, or Carlito, and it will be Carlito. Ric Flair will wrestle the Spirit Squad for the tag titles with either Dusty, Roddy Piper, or Sergeant Slaughter, and I'll bet you anything it's Dusty. And DX versus Orton and Edge with Eric Coachman or Vince as the special referee, and I'll bet you anything it's Vince. So there are your big matches, and that is that. I was also thinking during
I would
this
be
show,
most looking forward there to Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes versus the Spirit Squad.
Yeah, for the tag titles, mind you.
I hope they win.
They will. I was thinking about this during the Federline deal throughout the evening, and afterwards when they showed some more Marine stuff, they got to bring in Robert Patrick.
Sure, why not?
He needs to come in next. He's the next star they need to bring in and have him be a great heel, because I think he'd be a hell of a heel. I don't know who he'd be a foil. He should be a foil for Cena in real life, like No Holds Barred.
Yeah.
Like he got mad at him on the set, and he's coming
He should come out. Cena should wrestle a match and win. His music's playing, and then it stops, and Robert Patrick comes out and he says, "John Triton, you tried to blow me up."
No, that's far too stupid.
Fine.
Just the old, we didn't get along on the set. He kept stepping on my lines.
Right.
Even though I don't think they had any lines. Actually, they did at the end,
had a few.
I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if they did, because Cena, every time he was on screen with Robert Patrick, he was just grunting.
They can just argue about who's the bigger star of the movie.
That would, in fact, be Robert Patrick, and I don't think Cena would argue, in fact. Hunter faced Orton in a rematch from last week. I guess this was a match they wanted to do last week, but couldn't because Orton hurt himself. Hunter made a big comeback. Lita tripped him. Ref took a bump. Edge speared Hunter. Shawn beat on Edge. Coach decided he was going to be the ref, but Sean super kicked him. Edge threw Sean into the post, went for the spear. Hunter tossed him outside. Bischoff gave Orton a chair. He hit Hunter, and then the ref woke up and counted the pin.
Holy
boring.
Fuck, that's a lot of stuff.
I mean, it was just as boring as it was when I read it. And it's the second week in a row, actually, that four of the biggest stars, in clearly what they consider the big program, has been to me, one of the most boring segments on the whole show. I could give a flying fuck less about this program.
Well, there's that. This is way better than last week.
Yeah.
But no, I totally agree. This feud is lame. The only thing I like about DX is when they do their wacky comedy promos. Tonight they blatantly just stole from Wayne's World.
Sure.
Sean had a ball cap on. You can almost see him backstage when they said, "Let's advertise our hats," and Sean put it on, and they said, "Hey, you look like Wayne." And so they did the Wayne's World stuff, and that's funny to me.
I got to cut you off here. This is a pet peeve about sports and about something you just said, and I want you to remember this so I don't have to turn you down ever again. I don't ever want to hear it referred to as a ball cap or a ball bat.
I see.
It's a baseball cap and a baseball bat.
You're actually correct.
Whenever I hear ball bat, I'm like, oh, so they use a fucking bat in football? Do they use the bat in soccer?
No, Brian, they do not.
No, it's a baseball bat. And it's a baseball cap. Do you wear that fucking cap when you play football?
No.
Do you wear a fucking cap like that when you play soccer?
No.
Dodgeball?
No.
No, baseball.
You're actually right.
God, that pisses me off. He's wearing a ball cap. No, he's wearing a baseball cap.
Right.
There's a gigantic difference.
I actually agree with you.
All right, just wanted. Well, you called it a ball cap. That's why I am aware. Out. All right, go on. You may finish.
Thank you for correcting me.
You may finish your speech now.
I like DX when they're doing funny promos. I don't like them when they wrestle.
That's it.
There you go.
So anyway, that was a thumbs down segment to end the show. I guess thumbs in the middle. It wasn't a bad match or anything.
It was
like
exactly what you expect from Hunter and Raw or Hunter and Randy in a Raw main event.
It was not Sting and Jeff Jarrett.
Hell no.
That was much worse than this.
Indeed.
Then we saw Raw, which was a mix of... Raw's a show that's just there. Same shit happens every week. We saw we saw Hunter and Orton for the third fucking straight week. There's still a feud for the Intercontinental title with Johnny Nitro and Carlito, Jeff Hardy, some other geek, Shelton. Same shit every week. This time they're building up to a pay-per-view, which they did in the most absurd manner possible. It's funny because you look at what wrestling is and what the idea of wrestling is, and the dumbest person on the show was Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
By miles and miles and miles.
How can somebody so smart be so dumb?
I don't know.
Somebody tried to defend Hunter on the board the other day. They're like, Hunter only does what's best for him. He doesn't do what's best for the business. Of course, completely ignoring the fact that he's going to get the fucking business. What's best for Hunter is what's best for the business. Yeah. That's it. That is it. Yeah. Hurting everybody except Hunter is in Hunter's worst interests.
In fact, that's true.
He is going to be taking this company over. You want this company as strong as humanly possible. And he is so dumb.
Unless he's got an elaborate plot to sabotage it, and then he can be the one who saves it.
I think he's too stupid to save it now.
I'm inclined to agree with you. I'm trying to argue for the sake of argument.
Well, stop that.
He was fucking dumb tonight.
That's my pet peeve, is people arguing for the sake of argument. If you have a valid argument or a counter-argument, go to town. Don't just argue just because you want to say the opposite of what everyone else says.
I was actually arguing to try to make interesting radio, but I'll stop that too.
Stop that immediately. The Raw show opened with Edge and Orton in the ring. Edge said it was his birthday, which led to a funny line when the fans told him he sucked, and he said, "It's my birthday, damn it, shut up."
That was awesome.
So they called out the three men that may be refereeing the main event on Sunday: Coach, Eric Bischoff, and Vince McMahon. And boy, was it weird seeing Vince McMahon, just another geek in the ring. Did you notice that?
The whole, yeah.
I mean, Vince, every time you see Vince, he's like the centerpiece of the segment.
Right.
And when this started out, you had Edge and Orton there as the masters of ceremony, and then he was one of three dorks.
Yes.
That was fascinating. I was like, wow, he's just another guy. And I've never thought that about Vince McMahon.
He was a cog in the machine.
He eventually took over and made everyone else look like dorks, but the point was he started out as a geek. So they all cut their little promos. Bischoff just blatantly plugged his book.
Yep.
His argument to vote for him was that he would create controversy. No votes. Coach's argument was that DX was mean to him. He wanted revenge. No votes. Vince came out and said, what did he say? If elected, he would show DX the same dignity and class they'd shown him in the past. And then he announced that Shawn Michaels was not there. Millions of votes. So there you go, kids. Vince McMahon will be the referee on Sunday. He signed Triple H all alone, since Shawn was not there, to a rubber match with Randy Orton. Third time in a row, mind you.
Because the first two were so great.
Sure. He said the special guest referee would be Edge. Remember that, kids. The special guest referee is Edge. So, then Vince excused everybody except Coach. You want to know if Coach was aware that next week Raw might be without a champion should John Cena lose? What was Coach going to do about that? Coach suggested giving Cena the night off. Vince was like, no. This is John Cena. We need ratings. He didn't say those exact words, but... So Coach said, how about Cena versus Show and Booker in a handicap match? At which point Jim Ross said, why not just shoot Cena? Ross, by the way, his contract expired yesterday. He was working tonight without a contract.
That's amazing to think about.
We shall see how long that lasts. That's not the kind of thing Vince McMahon likes.
No.
A dude that might just not show up on a Monday.
And I don't blame him for that, by the way.
Yeah. So, anyway, it ended up with Vince's solution being Cena would have a match. The fans would vote tonight on the opponent. King Booker, Big Show, or Coach. And they were strongly pushing throughout the show to vote for Coach. And it ended up being a landslide, but we'll get to that later. Johnny Nitro faced Carlito and Shelton. This went about 2 minutes. Carlito won, so... I remember last year before Taboo Tuesday, they were a little more subtle. Now they're just like telling you.
You will vote for Carlito.
You will vote for Carlito. That's what we want. Please vote for him. So yeah, Carlito and Jeff Hardy for the title.
Woo.
On Sunday. That should suck.
It should, in fact, suck.
I hope they throw a cog in the wheel and it's like Shelton, and they're completely unprepared and have a horrible match. Just
as opposed to being completely prepared and having a horrible match.
Cena did an interview with Todd Grisham, which actually, K-Fed was not there, but he plugged his album, which I appreciate.
That was nice.
There's a shout-out to old K-Fed, who's, all of his concerts, by the way, are being canceled.
Yes.
Sucks to be him, but... So he should have been here, really.
Really, he had nothing better to do.
He basically said he didn't give a shit who he wrestled tonight. He talked Todd Grisham into announcing who he voted for. It was a very spirited promo on the part of Cena, and he's on a level above everybody else.
Oh, God.
In another universe.
I mean, yeah, it's like Rock, Cena, everyone else. He's miles ahead of everyone.
So we've got one good segment on the show so far.
Correct.
We're about a half hour in. And then we had a segment that was so bad that I give it a thumbs up. It was Candice, Trish, and Carlito. First, Candice and Trish were behaving like two people don't behave, which is funny enough. And then Trish and Carlito behaved like two people would never behave. Trish asked out Carlito in a manner in which no woman has ever asked out a man. Mm-hmm. He accepted in a manner in which no man has ever accepted a date with a woman.
Right.
They both look so fucking stupid.
This is only mildly stupid until Carlito said, sure, we can meet and you can wear something nice. And she said, what? And he said, you could give me some good advice.
Yes.
That.
Ha ha ha.
That was so stupid it actually made me angry.
You know, I've noticed, maybe it's just me. There was another line during the show. I can't remember what it was. But
There's just been some god-awful dialogue in this show lately.
Let me finish. There was another line on this show somewhere that was so stupid. And it really seemed to me like the person that delivered it knew exactly how stupid it was and just made it even stupider. Hopefully I wrote it down somewhere and I'll remember what it was, but I just remember that hitting me. But this was so bad. This was so bad.
God.
Oh, then we had Lita and Maria in a women's title match, tournament match, which Lita won. I may have missed this. If I did, I apologize. But during the middle of the match, you just started randomly talking about stipulations for the finals on Sunday. I don't remember seeing a graphic for this.
It. There was a graphic right before.
Okay.
I saw a female form, and once they started talking, I was able to put two and two together.
Fine, I'll give him that then. But anyway, the three possible stipulations for the women's title match on Sunday are a lumberjack match, a no DQ match. It's Trish and Mickie James, by the way.
I believe you mean Lita and Mickie James.
Whatever.
Trish
Lita.
is still retired.
I saw Trish because
They wanted to.
They were the Tory deal. She mentioned Trish. But anyway, so yeah, it's who are the people?
Mickie James and Lita.
Mickie James and Lita. God damn all these fucking women.
If there weren't so many women on the show, you wouldn't have this problem.
Mickie James and Lita are having a match, and the three possible stipulations are a no DQ match, a lumberjack match, and a submission match.
You know, I didn't notice they were talking about this until halfway through, and I heard submission, and I heard, what was it? Not lumberjack. What was the other one?
No DQ.
I heard submission, I heard no DQ, and I did not hear the third choice. I assumed it must have been lingerie or something.
No.
Because that's something people might want to, see. But no, it's going to be Lita and Mickie James in a no DQ match or a submission match or a lumberjack match.
I command all of you now to go to WWE.com, and you can vote multiple times. They've outright stated that. They won a lot of votes this year.
Sure.
Please vote for a submission match. I can think of nothing that I would like to see more for my own amusement than Lita and Mickie James in a submission match.
Trading holds.
Yeah, trading holds in the ring. Please do this for me, everybody. So anyway, that was that. And by the way, I like how Mickie is no longer crazy.
Nope, she's fine now.
Couldn't they at least have done one angle where she got meds?
Or electrocuted or something.
Anything.
Yeah, shock treatment.
God, she was a crazy bitch, and now she's like a normal baby face.
And if anyone's thinking that people will just forget, there was a sign tonight saying, "Mickie, stalk me."
Yeah.
So at least she's over, I guess, but...
Another fucking Marine promo aired. I don't know if I mentioned this. I mentioned it briefly in the news update, but a couple weeks back when we were going to go to the Marine, I sent out a mass text message to all my friends saying, "Who wants to meet me at the I almost said the hotel. Wrong text message. Who wants
I didn't get that one.
Who wants to meet me at the theater to see the Marine?" Which no one replied. For like 3 hours. I got no replies. I'm like, well, strangely enough, Pirates of the Caribbean is still at the same theater.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if nobody returns this text, I'm not going to the Marine. I will go to Pirates again.
We should have done that.
At least I know it'll be a good movie. Well, unfortunately, you responded to the text.
I did.
And I was so sad when that phone rang. I'd set like a limit of 7:15. I'm leaving. I'm going to Pirates. And at 7:10, my thing beeped, and I'm like, God damn it. And it was you, of course. So we went to Marine, and we were miserable.
We got there. I did note, hey, Pirates are showing again.
Yeah.
But you didn't say anything.
So, anyway, the point of this is I went the other day to check the status of the Marine. And that same theater we went to, the Marine is no longer playing, and Pirates is still there.
Well, you see, Brian, Pirates is better. I realize it's like, is it 6 months old now? It's been
July,
out for a while.
August, September, October, 3.5 months.
Okay,
or
well,
3 months.
regardless, it's been out for months and months. People have seen it by now, and they keep going back.
Yeah, and
because it's good.
It's got like 5 showings still on this theater.
Yeah,
and Marine's already gone.
Bye.
And I have on my my Yahoo page or whatever it's called, like all the 7 closest theaters in the area.
Yeah.
Marine is playing in exactly 1 theater, and it has 2 showings, a 2:00 p.m. and a 7:30 p.m.
That's the demand, apparently.
Yeah. So they're still showing commercials, though. They're now showing commercials for a film I cannot see.
Yeah, I was just saying, it's to the point now where you have to actually seek this movie out and hunt it down.
Yeah.
Much like John Cena does in the movie.
I would have to drive hundreds of miles, I believe, to actually see this film. So, anyway, then we had shit. Hunter came out for his match with Orton, his 3rd match in 3 straight weeks. Edge was there in the referee's shirt. He's the special referee, mind you.
Right.
Okay. So Hunter immediately beat him up and laid him out, and they went to commercial.
He thwacked him with the microphone, hit him with a pedigree, and that was that.
So when they came back from commercial, there was another ref in the ring who was, I guess, replacing the fallen Edge.
He was significantly less special.
Sure, he was just a referee. So they're doing this match, okay, with a replacement referee.
With you so far.
The head referee has been knocked out.
Okay.
The replacement referee's out there. So they're doing this match, and Orton is the heel.
Yes, you're right.
Hunter is the babyface.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter spends like 5 minutes working over Orton's leg.
Yeah.
And Orton is grabbing his leg and screaming, I guess in an attempt to draw some sort of sympathy from the Rudo fans or something like that. And the announcers are comparing Hunter to Ric Flair because he's working over the leg. And I thought, has there ever been a Ric Flair match where he was the heel and he worked over the babyface's leg for 5 minutes as the babyface just sold and sold?
Not at the beginning.
I bet no.
Wow. Well, certainly not in the first 5 minutes, no.
So he goes for the figure four, and Orton shoves him off into the buckle, and that's how Orton gets the heat.
Yep.
He out-wrestled Hunter Hearst Helmsley to get the heat.
Correct.
So now he's working over Hunter, and I'm like, this is the most back-asswards fucking
Ever.
thing I've ever seen in my life.
Ever.
So Hunter then decides he's going to make a comeback, and he's running wild. And suddenly the original referee returns. The head ref, Edge.
Right.
Okay, so he spears Hunter, and the replacement ref DQs him.
Yes. We're not done. There's more. It actually gets substantially worse.
It does, but at this point, this was a point where I realized I'm 31 years old. I watch every wrestling show on national television, and it has passed me by. I just don't get this business anymore.
None of it registers. None of it makes sense. No one.
I watch every wrestling show. We have now added Ring of Honor. I watch all the UFC shows and the Pride shows. I watch overseas stuff when I get a chance. I watch CMLL, and I don't get it. It has passed me by.
I can't explain it, so don't look to me.
I was thinking about this, and then it actually got worse. This is, in fact, the go-home show before Cyber Sunday.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels was not there.
Correct.
And why was Shawn Michaels not there? Because the idea was that you're going to give the heels a 2-on-1 advantage on Hunter Hearst Helmsley and beat him down. You're going to build heat for the pay-per-view on Sunday.
A fine plan.
You're going to want fans clamoring to see DX get their revenge on these two bastards.
A great idea.
You're going to want to vote Vince McMahon as a special referee to see him get his ass kicked because this fucker put Hunter Hearst Helmsley in a position where he would get beaten on by two men.
We'll make millions.
So what do? Hunter rolls out of the ring and gets a sledgehammer and makes his own one-man comeback.
He kicked both their asses. This, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, this may have been stupider than the Reverse Battle Royal. This may have actually been the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
This was dumber than the Reverse Battle Royal, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because the Reverse Battle Royal just set up another stupid match on TV, which is going to eventually lead to a pay-per-view match.
Okay.
This was the final fucking build for a big pay-per-view.
And let me make sure.
What was the point of Shawn Michaels not being there?
I don't know.
And by the way, everybody, it gets worse later.
We'll keep it just to this segment. There's a lot in this segment to talk about, but there's two selling points, as I understand it, to this tag match at the pay-per-view. One is that there's going to be a special referee.
Yes.
Who may screw the babyfaces over. Well, the special referee here was Edge, and he was completely impotent.
Yes.
He was useless.
Yeah.
There's now nothing to fear from the special referee. Something will happen. Option number two, you would buy the pay-per-view to see DX beat up Orton and Edge. You've now seen that for 3 weeks in a row. and no one could possibly think anything different would happen at the pay-per-view. And if it did, it's not what they want to see.
Like I said, it gets worse.
Yes.
Just wait. So, after that...
I hate wrestling. I fucking hate wrestling.
After that, out came Eugene. And I realize this is a nitpicky thing, but speaking of stupidity, Eugene wears a ring jacket, and his name is backwards on it.
Mm-hmm.
So are you supposed to think that he did the embroidery?
I guess.
Okay, there are a couple of options here.
Okay.
Either Eugene embroidered his own jacket, which shows a remarkable level of talent, to not only be able to do embroidery, but to be so talented that you can do your own name backwards perfectly. That's number one.
It's all stylized and cool looking. It's
Sure.
just backwards.
Number two, the embroiderers are retarded. And they were completely retarded, and
They did it backwards?
And did it backwards.
Maybe he...
Or C, he went in and said, "Can you please embroider my name backwards on my jacket?"
Well, there's a D. Maybe he said, "Please embroider my name on my jacket." And they said, "Sure, what's your name?" And he wrote it down backwards. And they said, "Okay, if that's what the retard asked for, we'll give it to him."
You are an evil man. If you were an embroiderer... If you were an embroiderer and an obviously retarded man came into your shop and you asked him to write his name down and he wrote it down backwards, you would actually embroider it backwards onto the jacket?
I'm merely stating that of the four possibilities, it's the most realistic.
No, they're all unrealistic. There is no logical reason for Eugene's name to be backwards on his fucking ring jacket. Nor is there a reason for there to be a Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Umaga match.
In 2006.
Umaga, it was actually a handicap match, again for no good reason. It's two baby faces versus a heel.
Always good times.
Just randomly. Eugene was too scared to get in the ring. That's a fantastic babyface right there. Oh. And Umaga killed the American.
Yeah.
The American hero.
Clearly,
and that was that.
Clearly Eugene will be turning soon for Christ knows what reason.
This show fell off a cliff with such a vengeance. So then they did a skit with Coach Bischoff, and Coach said, "Whoever the next man that comes out this door, I'm going to kick his ass." I thought it would be Vince.
I did too.
That would have been sort of funny. Instead, it was Ron Simmons. And Coach looked at him, and then he looked at Eric, and then he looked back at Ron Simmons, and he ran off. And Ron Simmons just said, "Damn." And I thought, you know what? It was funny last week.
It was funny once.
It was really funny last week. And they are determined to just...
to run it into the ground.
Run it so deep into the earth, to the earth's core.
Frankly, they've done it already. This wasn't even... Sometimes things will be funny, but you won't smile. This wasn't even that. I was thinking, boy, that's lame. And they're going to do it again next week, and it's going to make me angry.
So then, and you'll notice a moment ago, I said this show had fallen off a cliff. And you'll notice that earlier in the show, we mentioned the Titanic.
Indeed, we did.
4 men could have turned around the Titanic.
And what 4 men are those?
And those 4 men turned around the Titanic that is Raw.
They did. They pulled it, they caught it as it fell down the cliff and threw it back onto the ledge.
Ric Flair, the fucking Titanic, you geek, they turned it around in the ocean.
You changed your metaphors.
If Ric Flair and Roddy Piper and Sergeant Slaughter and Dusty Rhodes had been on the Titanic, it would not have hit the iceberg.
No, it would still be sailing around, everyone having a good old time.
It actually may have sunk due to Dusty's extreme weight, but it would not have hit the iceberg. Flair came out and called out all 4 men, or 3 men, and they each cut a promo about why they should team with Ric Flair. Mm-hmm. Okay, now, I will preface all of this greatness. Before I do it, I will say one very stupid thing about the whole deal. Ric Flair is about to team with a retired man to fight for the tag team titles, even though the tag team champions lost 2 straight weeks in a row to Crime Time, who are not getting a title shot. Crime Time won 2 straight weeks in a row against the tag team champions,
Queen,
and they were rewarded with a match with Viscera and Charlie Haas on Raw.
Yeah, sucks to be them.
Meanwhile, Ric Flair is teaming up with a man who has not wrestled in a long, long time to get a shot at the tag team championships on pay-per-view. That's dumb. But with that said, these 4 men cut the 4 greatest promos of the year.
By far.
All in one segment.
and they got progressively greater.
Oh, yeah.
Each was better than the next.
Sergeant Slaughter
started, he did a fine promo. It was great.
Straight out of 83.
It was every Sergeant Slaughter promo ever, and that's awesome.
Yes.
He said a 10 hut, he said pukes, he said maggots, he said he wanted to be Flair's partner. Then Hot Rod cut a promo. It was great. It was screaming, it was growling, and insane.
A lot of kissing.
Yeah. And then Dusty Rhodes cut a promo. Pointing out, by the way, that Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair have never been a tag team before.
Yes.
Yes. And he really wanted to team with Flair to take on the Spirit Squad. And
all of you now.
Go vote for Dusty goddamn Rhodes.
Go to WWE.com and vote for Dusty Rhodes. Let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back over the past year, I may be more excited to see Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair versus the Spirit Squad than maybe any other match this year.
It's in this very short list.
People are going to really go off on me for this one.
No, why?
But as of right now, I think I'm more excited for that than Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe.
I definitely am. It's not even, I don't think about it.
Now, as that match gets closer, I'm sure maybe Angle and Joe might really light my world on fire. But right now, if I think
all we care about.
I think if somebody said to me, Brian, right now you've got a choice: Ric Flair and Dusty fucking Rhodes against the Spirit Squad, or Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe.
Joe, hope you guys do well. Good luck out there. I'm gonna go watch the Spirit Squad.
I'm not sure what I would say.
I
will
know.
not just outright say it, because Joe and Angle is probably going to be a great fucking match. But still, I am so excited to see this match.
Just to see Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes.
And if I buy this fucking show and it's Ric Flair and Sergeant Slaughter, I'll be very unhappy.
That would not be cool.
This show will end.
Yeah, that would be bad. Although, with all this being said, frankly, if these four men just hang out together forever and it just becomes Ric Flair and the four old men, that'd be awesome.
Yes.
just let them be on Raw every week, please. I beg you.
This was so grand.
Thumbs up.
All thumbs up. Crime Time then faced Visser and Charlie Haas in a horrible match. Here's what I love about Crime Time. I start trying to go old school, wherein they have a double team finisher, so they always make sure the ref is distracted when they hit their double team finisher.
Okay, yeah.
Meanwhile, all their matches break down into a four-way, and they just do multiple spots right in front of the referee.
Yeah.
For some reason, they have to make sure the ref doesn't see their double-team finisher. All the other double-team moves the ref can see, but not their finisher.
Right.
Anyway, they beat these other two geeks, and there you go.
They've already gotten to the point where they realize Shad Gaspard is so horrible, they just keep him on the apron the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
There is one tag in each Crime Tag match, and it's JTG tagging in Shad.
Yes, and he does nothing with his
he does shitty punches and clotheslines and kicks men in the face.
So anyway, I promised earlier that we would get to the thing that was even worse about the DX deal, and here it was. Hunter was backstage, and he cut a promo. The final promo leading up to Cyber Sunday.
The last chance to sell pay-per-view buys.
DX versus Edge and Orton with a special referee. And this is what Hunter Hearst Helmsley said. He said it didn't matter who the special guest referee was because he just proved he could take care of himself. You bring it, he said, I'll bring it bigger. And he held up his sledgehammer. And I thought, you just killed the match.
You did.
It was dead before, you killed it even deader.
It was an assassination.
How could you have any interest whatsoever in this match after this?
I can't fathom.
He outsmarted both heels.
He overpowered both heels.
And
he doesn't care about the stips.
He doesn't care about the stips. He doesn't care about the match. He doesn't care about who they bring.
Nope.
He doesn't give a shit. And somehow we're supposed to care enough to buy the show.
This was fucking dumb.
How could a guy be so stupid?
I don't know.
This was like the dumbest fucking promo I ever saw. Boy, what a week this has been.
It really has.
This week
everyone keep this newsletter forever.
This week should go down in history as the dumbest week in the history of wrestling.
That's your headline. Everyone stupid.
It may be. Because I don't have another headline story.
Everyone is dumb. That is your headline.
The closest thing I have to a headline story is all the changes coming up in ECW. But that might actually be the headline story. This is the dumbest week in the history of this business. I firmly believe that at this point.
I can't... Oh, yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can think is the only way this could have possibly been a dumber week is if on October 20th they actually had done the Tito Ortiz Dana White match and Dana knocked out Tito and there was no Tito Chuck match on December 31st. Then, without question, this would have been the stupidest match of all time.
Stupidest week of all time.
We had stupidity in ECW. We had stupidity in TNA. We had stupidity on SmackDown. We had stupidity on Guerrero's Del Ring. We had stupidity on Raw. Am I forgetting anything?
Did Pride do anything dumb lately?
Oh, yeah, we had stupidity in Pride, but it wasn't their fault. We had two guys that knew they were going to fight in Vegas failing a drug test. Yes. Stupid.
Stupid.
Jesus, God, this was a stupid week. I have never seen so much stupidity.
It really is breathtaking to look back on it all.
So then the main event was fans voting for Coach. Booker and Show did commentary. It was funny. Mostly because Booker was Booker and Show couldn't keep a straight face.
Pretty much.
Coach beat Cena, or Cena beat Coach. I'm sorry, what a jackass.
Speaking of stupid.
Cena won with the STFU in 2 minutes, which led to the funniest line ever by Big Show, who said, and I quote, "Disappointing performance by Coachman."
I didn't even catch that.
Indeed it was.
It was just... Goddamn, he's funny.
I would bet you all money that it'll be King Booker's belt on the line on Sunday, which probably means King Booker's going to win, unless they want to do a 1-month switch leading the Survivor Series.
I can see that if they want to have an excuse to have Cena on SmackDown for a month, they can have him win it. But even this match, the appeal here is that you're seeing the 3 champions wrestle for the first time. Well, we've seen all these guys wrestle each other multiple times before, and if you say, well, it's the 3 champions together for the first time, we've seen them hanging out now for like a month. I'm bored of Cena and Big Show and Booker.
Yeah.
This pay-per-view, the build of this pay-per-view has sucked. There is one match I'm mildly excited for, and it involves 2 men with a combined age of about 110.